So you can catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan scratch it. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it. Catch it, match it, stash it in the cabinet. Listen to the chorus while let Ivan. This is real hip hop, we aiming for a classic. And if we can't approach it, screw it, we'll attack it.
What you know about classic music?
What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Retro Wrestling Review Series. I'm Mo, the Birdman Finch, and I'm here with...
James the He-Man Hebert. Hi. It's me.
I know, you didn't get a special intro. Typically, if it's a two-man booth, you don't get a special intro. I just say I'm here with, and then...
I am producer man, I've been dubbed that everywhere now, and it's like, what the fuck? I'm just producer man. I mean,
this is what happens.
Producer, but, you know, fuck.
This is what happens when you offer to produce everybody's shit. You become producer man type of thing.
Become producer man. It's one of my many endless fucking nicknames.
Yeah.
Well, Jerry Slaughter's like a man of 1,000 nicknames. Hey, try me. Try me. There's about like 1,000 nicknames for me as well.
I don't know. Oi Dre, I think, has everyone top. Remember, he had a new nickname every like week on the Massasoit Wrestling Corner.
I do.
I don't think the nickname. I don't think any nickname he had stuck to either. If you notice, my nickname's been the same since the Massasoit Wrestling Corner days. That's how I follow my nickname.
I just have many different nicknames I don't use every single one of them. I just stick with the He-Man, and then whatever like subtext you want to go with, go ahead.
There you go. But yeah, so we're gonna crank out a ton of retros. You probably are going to see this after we have cranked out a ton of retros because wrestling's getting busy these next couple of weeks. We always knew that it was going to be, but, you know, especially these next 2 weeks because we're going to try to do some retros to hype up for All In and All Outs. And Heat Wave because Heat Wave is happening. This retro is a SummerSlam retro. Now, technically, I know SummerSlam's already happened. But SummerSlam was early this year, and we had this retro already planned out anyways. But there's also another special case because Edge is celebrating his 25 years. It's not exactly his 25 years. They're just doing the celebration just because SmackDown's in Canada. Well, it's in Toronto.
Right,
And Edge even though Edge doesn't have a big presence on the show, what he does on the show is pretty big. So this qualifies for that, a 25-year celebration of Edge. So there you go. That's the loophole right there. That's why we could get away with doing the SummerSlam.
That's fair. Yeah, there you go. That's our excuse.
But yeah, if you're wondering why you haven't seen many retros and stuff lately, I did explain it on the wall retro from November, I think it was, I don't even remember the date. I think it was the 6th, 2017 on that wall retro. Basically, I had planned to do retros, and then I think for 2 weeks, my allergies was just ass. And then my sleep schedule was off because of the heat and my allergies. So I always plan on watching these shows that, we were going to do, and then they just never happened. So, and I think one day the weather reported that we were supposed to lose power one day, and they just decided, fuck you, no, we're just kidding. We got the weather on, so.
That's a good way to put it, I guess.
And then I think one day I had 5 guys, and I went into a food coma right afterwards, so that's why.
Well, okay, so did you get it from Sonata and all that, or because they're just 5 guys?
I got the burger restaurant, so,
Okay. So no Sonata then.
No Sonata. Well, I could have been, unless the name was Sonata, so.
I don't know, maybe the server was the Cold Skull himself.
Yeah. And why would Sonata be the server? Because he's the leader of the faction? I thought there was no leaders of 5 guys.
I don't fucking know. Dude, New Japan factions are confusing sometimes, bro. I tried.
Yeah.
Especially
Anyhow, yeah, let's start talking about the show. This is a mutual pick because
Yes.
when it got to be that time for SummerSlam, you originally you picked the show because you wanted to do it. So we'll get to the reason in a second why you picked the show. I picked this show because I have a ton of DVDs at my house, and I've been saying I want to watch these DVDs because I haven't watched any of them, and I'm healing myself, by the way, so that's distracting me.
Not bad.
But yeah, so I was gonna watch this DVD because this SummerSlam is obviously very significant. It's very weird.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was gonna pick this show. What did you pick this show for? Because I obviously picked this show because I just had it on DVD. Even so, the reason I picked it doesn't even matter because I didn't even bring the DVD because you kind of told me about it last minute, like when I couldn't even get the DVD anymore, so I had to watch it on Peacock. And let's just say Comcast kind of screwed me over. I have to deal with ads now for Peacock until September 3rd, but that's a whole fucking story for another day. But what did you pick the SummerSlam for?
I picked this SummerSlam because it is the best and worst of the Attitude Era all rolled up into a hodgepodge of shit.
Ruthless Aggression Era. Ruthless Aggression Era.
That's what I said, didn't I?
You said the Attitude Era.
Well, yes. Both.
Okay.
Both. No, Ruthless Aggression Era. It's the worst and best of it all rolled up into one. This is basically kind of the paradox of what the hell the WWE, the direction that it was going to go in, and how bad it was going in creatively, but how the matches were out of this world, right, type thing. That's basically the Attitude, or I'm sorry, that's basically the Ruthless Aggression Era in a nutshell. Like, they had awesome matches every week. Mm-hmm. And every month on pay-per-views, but the booking just made zero sense, and it was ruining the product. This was really kind of the start of that time period for where the WWE was sinking creatively, especially. And I think it's just kind of something to look back on and talk about. Some of the stuff I enjoyed, but that doesn't mean it was good. In hindsight, put it that way.
We'll get to that, but before we even get to that, let's kind of talk about what the state of wrestling was like around this time period. You kind of mentioned the WWE, so I don't really think we need to go into any more detail about that.
Yeah.
This is kind of like WWE. I still think was good. Obviously, this was before the death of Eddie Guerrero, but not long before it.
Yeah, unfortunately.
We'll talk about it later. This is like the first real time where. The fans were becoming smarter and, were reading internet sites and all that type of stuff. So, they turned on the top guy that was meant to build, that they were meant to build the company around. I guess that's the first time it's happened because I know it happened with Lex Luger and Bret Hart.
It happened with Hogan, too. It happened with Hogan in '93. So it's not like it was impossible, but
it was the first time it happened where,
on a grand scale like this, it was the first time it ever happened, yeah.
Yeah. But the WWE product was still producing some good shows. If you want to know retros we've done in the past around this time, the draft retro where John Cena gets drafted to Raw, that's a banger. So the shows were still good at least every week. This is, like you just said, though, this was kind of when the wheels were kind of starting to fall off a little bit.
They were starting to fucking disintegrate.
And we won't say we'll talk about it when we get into the show. They lost the main event match for SmackDown that they wanted to do too, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
That is a big thing, yeah, because they had I think JBL was a last minute replacement.
I mean, they were feuding anyways, but I think that's, if you remember, that's why they had to do the DQ fit. They basically had to extend the feud between Batista and JBL another month because of that, so that way they could find an opponent. Because Batista wouldn't have had an opponent at all for SummerSlam. But
right.
Then
yeah, because they said it was a last minute decision, right? Because they needed something, and yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I remember. Originally Batista's opponent was supposed to be.
We'll get to that when we get there.
Okay, yeah, because I forget. It's on the tip of my tongue, but we'll get there because you remember, obviously.
And then, TNA. outside of WWE, though, TNA was really on fire at this time. Obviously,
TNA was putting out the best creative and best in-ring product out of anybody in wrestling. Like, it wasn't even a goddamn competition. Like, creatively and in-ring wise, TNA outmatched WWE, and there was a lot of people that were kind of jumping ship. It wasn't a significant amount of people like WCW was when they did it, but it was a lot. It was a lot of buzz and noise that kind of turned people's heads. So they kind of got like, okay, let me see what the hell's going on Fox Sports. And then they buy the pay-per-views and all that, and they were really kind of getting their steam rolling here. And I think when did Unbreakable happen?
It was in June.
It was in June, right? So
yeah, we did the retro for it. So.
This isn't even 2 months removed from Unbreakable, which is quite arguably maybe the best TNA show that has ever been produced ever. Like, there's nothing that comes close to that, and I think it's so underrated that it does not get top billing that it deserves. It honestly is top to bottom a perfect card, and capped off with that triple threat match between Daniels, Joe, and Styles for the X Division title. So this is not 2 months removed from that. And
TNA,
they were just killing it, man.
And it's not like it's not like they were the peak. Like, they stayed that way for like a while too. Like, it was a while.
They were only gaining momentum up into the point they signed Kurt, and they would still continue that momentum even with Russo back. So
yeah, and then as for the other companies, obviously we mentioned this before. This is New Japan at like its worst state, where it was Antonio Inoki, was it, that like tried to make it like an MMA thing? We've talked about that before.
A lot. He was trying. He was doing stuff that was absolutely killing the industry in Japan, to the point where it took Okada and Naito to bring it back to the promised land. Not only for Japanese, and not only for New Japan itself, but for Japanese wrestling as a whole. Especially lately with the partnerships with Pro Wrestling Noah and All Japan again. So like it took them a long fucking time to get out of that rut.
ROH Wrestling, though, was doing really well. I don't know if it's around that time. Is this around the time where CM Punk does that storyline where he wins the belt and he threatens to leave the I
believe so, and this isn't too long after the freaking trilogy of matches that him and Joe had as well.
Yeah.
Which got a lot of attention, not only from WWE, but TNA. TNA would sign Joe, and, WWE signed Punk. And they put Punk on a developmental deal and put him in OVW for a while, which is why you would see him appear every now and again on Raw. Before he showed up on ECW in 06.
But I think TNA, ROH, though, still didn't have, like, that global traction that it has now. You can only watch it, like, if you were down south, pretty much. Because there's no Fight TV, there's no... there's online streaming, but I feel like it's probably harder to watch ROH and all that type of stuff, just because, the streamers hadn't caught up. And the AAA, I couldn't really tell you what the state of AAA was at the time.
AAA was actually doing really good, but they had a lot of fucking backstage drama in a lot of cases. I think at this point in time, there was a lot of drama between Conan and Vampiro. I think that whole thing started there by this time.
Okay.
And I think it all came to a head. I don't know if it happened this year or a couple of years after this, but that whole thing culminated with, despite Conan's personal beef with Vampiro, he actually put him over in a battle royal, and he put him over essentially, and Vampiro actually was like, I'm surprised you actually fucking did that. And then he's like, yeah, well, I'm not going to let my personal grudges, get in the way of that. So, but moral of the story, and I bring that up for a reason, follow Conan's example.
Pretty much. Let's go through the show. And I can do trivia today because you're not going to cheat, I hope. So I can actually do trivia with you.
Sure, totally not going to cheat. Absolutely 0% not going to cheat.
I hear clicking.
I'm just clicking. I'm just making sure I'm producing the show well. It's okay.
I see fingers about to go on keyboards. I see all.
How do you know?
Happening.
You don't see any fingers. I don't know what you're talking about.
I saw this happening. I saw like that happening. So I see.
Oh, because I'm extending my hands. Maybe I'm writing something on the OBS. You don't know. You don't
I
know.
Now because I don't trust you. I'm gonna break down the pay-per-view numbers.
No,
No trivia.
do the bit. It's funny. Just do
Fine,
it.
we'll do the trivia. We'll do the trivia, but just know that if you get the answers right, I'm not gonna believe. And you're just cheating yourself, by the way. So you know.
Hey, listen. Just go with it. It's fine.
All right. We will say the brand split, by the way. The first iteration of the brand split still in effect. And
Yes,
SummerSlam was
that is a big thing. Yeah, and, like they had it on the. I actually got a logo specifically of the Raw and SmackDown SummerSlam logo. I think it was the box art for the DVD.
It was.
So yeah, I got that logo. So yeah, that's very much in effect around this time.
Yeah, the poster is Hogan and Michaels on the poster for obvious reasons, the main event. But yeah, so this is a double branded pay per view, obviously, because it's one of the big four. It's obviously going to be a double branded pay per view. This is when there's a reason I have to explain this. Like, they're very heavily into the brand split. Anyone that's on Raw stays on Raw, and anyone that's on SmackDown stays on SmackDown. They have their own pay-per-views. Their sets look different. I know you're thinking, James, well, obviously it's a brand split. But you see how they handle the brand split nowadays? Yes. I have to explain it that way now. So
yes, because people don't understand that this actually used to matter. Yeah, because they actually treated it a lot better than currently.
I don't think anybody but Vince was like a free agent. Like, he's the only one that bounced. And if you think about it,
even Vince stayed on SmackDown for a period, I think, for a while.
Yeah,
and then he switched over to Raw when he was done with SmackDown. He's like, I just need a change of scenery. But he was on SmackDown for like what until
04?
Like end of 04, and then he moved over to Raw.
So it's like,
and then he was on Raw for like until 2007. So like,
I don't know why they can't. I don't know why they are unable to do a brand split now. It's like they don't know how to do it anymore. So
because they completely forget. Apparently, they just don't remember. I don't know what to tell you, man.
All right, let's go let's do the trivia that you're totally not cheating on.
Yes. Yes.
What date did this show happen?
Oh, that date would be, of course, not looking at anything here. August 21st of 2005.
Oh, wow. At least you got the date right, so that's good. That's good.
Imagine if I'm like bust ass, I'm looking at it. Like, can you imagine? Oh, it was actually in 2004? Oh, I fucked it.
Gee, I wonder what the city is, James. I don't know. This is another trivia question.
It was a DC of the Washington variety.
There you go. Mm-hmm. Do you know the venue?
MCI Center at the time, which is now it is now the Capital One Arena, and that was the same arena that AEW was at.
Yeah, it was. That was where they had their first Dynamite, right?
Yes, it was. And if you want to know the attendance, I got you. I'm already ahead of the game. I figured you were going to answer that question anyway. Totally not looking it up or anything. 18,176 exact to the number. There might have been a half a person there. I don't know.
A half a person? What do you mean a half? So they have... what do you... They're just, ahead and like...
Head and torso, yeah, don't worry about it. Hey, listen, it existed in Family Guy once.
What happens, by the way, if there's two... If there's two half a persons, so there's someone that has...
That means they're a whole person. That counts as a whole person.
But what if it's not the same person? Like...
It's not the same. It doesn't have to be the same person. It just counts as a whole person, and because that's quick maths.
There you go. The buy rate. I feel like you know the buy rate.
Oh, absolutely know the buy rate. 650,000. That'd probably be the only thing I would have gotten right without looking at this, by the way, because I only know that because I was super interested in this event for some strange reason. It's like one of those. Yeah. It's one of those train wrecks you just gotta watch for yourself.
And this is pre-network and everything too. This was the second highest rated SummerSlam pay-per-view buy rate of all time.
Yeah,
I think it's behind 98. If I had to get
98, yep. 98 was the highest grossing SummerSlam up until I think this year. And I only say that because apparently these motherfuckers are so fucking. They have no time on their hands. Apparently, if you equate the money that they made in pay-per-view figures, they would have beat this. So this year's would have been the highest grossing.
Okay, there you go.
So yeah, so 2023 and then SummerSlam 05, SummerSlam 98. That's or no, SummerSlam 98 and then SummerSlam 05. So SummerSlam 05 is like the third highest SummerSlam of all time.
We'll say this is the second highest pre-streaming service.
Yeah. Yep.
You know, what a tagline, by the way. This one I think you could have gotten.
I think I could have. Honestly, I could have just. I don't know if I would have, because I wouldn't have expected him to go so obvious with this. But they said Hogan versus Michaels for the first time ever as the tagline, because that was the main event.
Yeah.
So yeah.
They're pretty. I noticed WWE sometimes is very obvious with the taglines. If you notice, I think.
It's really weird.
Takeover London was like we're taking over London type of thing.
Yeah, what a great tagline! Goddamn, we're taking over London. So original.
You would have thought this one would have been Legend versus Icon because that's what the
isn't it
match is.
Yeah, isn't it on the box art too?
Yeah, it is. So.
Legend versus Icon. Yeah. What the fuck? I don't know.
But anyhow, that's everything. You did really well in the trivia. You did the best out of anyone without, cheating or anything.
I know. It's absolutely wild. Just got that big brain. 999 IQ. I was an electrical, bro.
There you go. Let's go through the actual show itself. We're gonna start with Sunday Night Heat because there was a Sunday Night Heat match I was able to find.
What a nothing burger this was.
And it sucks too because you couldn't find it anywhere, so I had to watch it. And clearly, someone filmed it like off their TV type of thing.
Dude,
so
it's so scuffed. It's so scuffed. Holy shit! Like you can see the goddamn the bars of the TV like coming in and out as well. It was fucked. Oh, that sucked ass.
But the commentary team for Sunday Night Heat with Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. I don't think it was Sunday Night Heat. I think they changed it to Heat, but for some reason I'm calling it Sunday Night Heat here. I don't know why, but I am. It was Chris Masters versus the Hurricane with Rosie and I almost said Super Crazy, but Super Stacy were inside.
Because you know what though? Fuck! Why didn't they put Super Crazy with the Hurricane and Rosie?
That would have been awesome.
He would have been he would have been a great fit. Him and Psychosis, the Mexicools. That should have been their gimmick. Fuck lawnmowers. Make them superheroes. Oh my god, that would have banged, bro.
But anyhow,
I'm sad now.
No reason for the match. It was just kind of happening, just a random match on Sunday Night Heat. They were building up Chris Masters very well at this time, though. He was kind of like getting his name out there in WWE. Hurricane starts off the match in a dominant fashion, and during the match, Chris Masters acts like he's gonna hit Stacy, but Hurricane's able to stick up for her, and then he ends up laying out Rosie. Your boy Rosie, it seems like every time we do one of these, gets fucking done dirty. He gets done dirty every time.
Well, he was the superhero in trainings. He is shit.
Yeah. So, and then the Hurricane gets some more offense, and he hits a pretty cool blockbuster from the second turnbuckle. And then at the end, Chris Masters catches him from out of nowhere in a master lock. He tries to break out of it at first, but then Chris Masters ends up making him pass out eventually. And that was basically it. They were getting over the master lock at the time. I don't know. I don't remember if they were calling it the master lock at the time. I think it was just a Phil Nelson. So my bad if they weren't at the time, but we know it's the master lock type of thing.
It was a good way to he doesn't get any offense in, tries to fucking cheat, doesn't work, and then he catches him in one move. That really puts over the one move. This isn't one of those things where because I remember Nitro used to do this a lot where fucking Macho Man would get his ass kicked for fucking minutes of a match and this is with an enhancement talent, and then he would just hit a scoop slam, a fucking elbow drop, and that was it. I'm like, what the fuck? Why?
Vince actually was really bad, ironically enough, towards the end when he was fully booking stuff. He booked those type of matches all the time. This made sense.
But this made absolute sense because it's a submission that you can't get out of and you were trying to heavily protect. So, the one move that he did do was the thing that won him the match.
Yeah, so that was good.
So
this was
now I still am waiting for Chris Adonis to this day to fucking turn the Master Lock into the Dragon Suplex and call it the Master Drop. Why aren't you doing it? You should do a full Nelson Slam too. Everything that you should do should be full Nelson oriented.
Yeah, I'd like that.
I'm just saying.
This match was like 2 stars. It was really short. It was just them trying to get all the shit in. And it looks like, too, they didn't time this match very well. They, like, it seems like they add this, like 5 minutes before the pay-per-view. It's like, what's the point if you're not even going to fucking give us the proper time? So I give this, like, 2 stars. It did what it needed to do, though.
It did what it needed to do, so I'll give it 2 stars, too. But, yeah, I'm just sad that we didn't get to see, like, the axe kick Dave Reckoning stuff from Stacey Keith.
Yeah.
Just like, whoop, poosh. Every time she hit that in the games, it's just like, it looks like it's a great looking axe kick. By the way, I wish they'd bring that back.
Yeah, because that was a sponsor for the game, but it was Dave Reckoning too, by the way. So that was
Super Stacy, she's on the box out.
And then going through the show. We had the commentary team for Raw. The commentary team for Raw was Jerry the King Lawler, Jim Ross, and Jonathan Coachman. I always forgot they did a 3-man booth for this show. I always thought it was just Jerry and King that commentated it, but they threw Coach in there.
He is never bad when he was with these two, by the way. He always fit and gelled well when it came to JR and King.
Yeah. And I think the best part about it, he wasn't acting like he was heel, but he wasn't actually acting like an over atrocious heel. Actually, he was actually calling the action like with JR.
This 3-man booth I can get behind because Jerry was actually face here and he wasn't overly annoying, and he loved puppies, and he wasn't really even that annoying about that on the show.
But it wasn't a lot. There wasn't a lot of that on this show.
No, it really wasn't. And then like fucking Coachman was like just good at being a bad guy. You know, but also like looking at it from the devil's perspective, which is what you're supposed to do if you're a heel commentator. Really good. Like, JR was the middleman between the two. And I like that type of dynamic. Always going to favor it over everything else.
Yeah, definitely good
super
stuff.
Cartoony and bullshit.
And then the SmackDown commentary team was Taz and Michael Cole. They did actually.
We know how good they are. You know.
Yeah.
But there you go.
By the way, so far, everyone we've talked about on the show, we've done a career retrospective on. And I think everybody on this show, we've done a career retrospective on, except for one person, I think. So we'll get to that person when we get there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I have a feeling he's in the first match, isn't he?
Yeah, but we're going to do some other stuff. The Spanish commentary team was Carlos Cabrera and Hugo Savinovich. I always enjoy
usual.
Hearing them.
Good for them for reuniting. I saw that clip finally, by the way. Holy emotion. God damn. I'm going to watch AAA now because they got Hugo and Carlos on commentary. I'm going to watch AAA eventually. Because I want to see that.
When I watch AAA shows now, I watch it for Hugo Savinovich and Carlos Cabrera. Not just for that, but I'm saying if I do watch it, I listen to the Spanish commentary team over the English one. Hey, I don't know if you ever heard the English one. The English one, unless Stryker's calling it, is really shit.
Great. That makes me feel so confident about that. I will say though, it doesn't hurt the fact that they also have a lot of the guys that we've seen on AEW lately on there, as well as El Hijo del Vikingo and Natalia Markova. I mean, I'm just saying.
There you go.
Saying.
Next, the interviewer was Todd Grisham. The ring announcer was Lillian Garcia and Tony Jimmel. I think Lillian Garcia did Raw and Tony Jimmel did SmackDown.
Yep.
The general managers, for some reason, they have them there. Even though the SmackDown one doesn't show up on this show. It's Eric Bischoff for Raw and Teddy Long for SmackDown. But again, they don't show up on this show, so I don't know why Wikipedia has it here. And the referees for Raw were Mike Chioda, Jack Doan, and Chad Patton. And for SmackDown was Brian Hebner, Jim Corderas, Nick Patrick, and Charles Robinson. And I think everyone that we just talked about, we've done a career retrospective on before, so we don't need to do it again.
Yeah. Less time.
I know. I love the fact that we did. I wonder what's going to happen, though, like once the videos get old enough. I wonder if we'll have to just do it again. But we'll cross that bridge when we get to it.
We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think we've caught up on a lot of these people.
But anyhow, going through it, we had the opening video package, really good video package, kind of showing all the matches. They break down every match, by the way, like every match.
Which I
even like, yeah, I thought that was good. Lillian Garcia sings the national anthem. She actually does sing the national anthem here because it was in D.C. At first, I was wondering why they were doing this, but it did make sense because they were in Washington, D.C. And then it kicked off with the first match of the show. It's also really weird because they introduced the Raw commentary team, then they introduced the Spanish commentary team, then SmackDown. It was really odd, I guess, because they didn't want to just, maybe it would have been.
I always like it when Hugo says, "Michael Cole, you ties."
That was awesome.
It's always great to hear.
We had the first match on the show. It was the United States Championship match. It was Orlando Jordan defending the belt against Chris Benoit. The reason for this match was Chris Benoit got drafted over to SmackDown from Raw during the draft, and his first feud was against Orlando Jordan for the belt. They fought at the Great American Bash for the title, where Orlando Jordan cheated to retain his championship, and they had a rematch here. And Chris Benoit made a promise that he was going to make Orlando Jordan tap out, and Orlando Jordan made a promise that he was going to knock out Chris Benoit. Let's get to the match. They start chain grappling. Orlando Jordan kind of goes into the corner to kind of so that way Benoit will break the chain grapple. And he does get a shot in on Chris Benoit, but it's not much of a shot. It was just kind of like a warning shot type of thing. And I guess Chris Benoit heeded the warning because he goes to do another one. He hits a German suplex, immediately locks him into the crippler crossface. Orlando Jordan taps out. Chris Benoit wins the United States Championship in 25 seconds.
Yep.
And I think they said this was like the shortest SummerSlam match, like up to that point. Like,
at that point it was shortest.
So before I have to give you an opinion on it, I'm just gonna say this. I like this.
Yeah.
I thought this was good stuff. I kind of, I thought it made sense. I feel like if they got into a match, they clearly would kick their ass. It gets over Chris Benoit, and gets him over really over. Plus, Orlando Jordan, and look, this is obviously, I'm not saying this with the retrospective of what he's like nowadays type of thing, but he kind of sucked at this time, so I think it made sense.
He still sucks. He always sucked.
Yeah, but I like how they went about this. Plus, I think you have to do this every once in a while to kind of teach fans a lesson to show that a match can just end at any moment's notice. And I thought this was the perfect way to do that because the second Benoit walks in that crossface, you better be fucking tapping out. Like, he stretches you type of thing.
Yeah, I was happy Orlando got
I gave this 3 stars, and the crowd was into this too. Like, they actually
3 stars. Yeah, the greatest squash match of all time.
Well, that goes to SummerSlam 2014 main event. That's the greatest squash.
That's fair. That's fair.
But yeah, anything else? Any thoughts you have about this?
I'll be real. Benoit deserved the win. Needed the title. Glad Orlando Jordan lost it. He had a lot of promise. What happened to Orlando? Because I remember he could have been good. Orlando Jordan could have been good. There was a point in time where it's like, okay, he had a lot of athleticism. He was doing belly to bellies. He was actually wrestling.
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
And then he joined up with JBL, and then he just stopped doing wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, amnesia happened when it came to wrestling, and it got erased from his head.
Yeah, it's odd.
And then, I don't know.
I forgot to do the research on Orlando Jordan. Do you want to just do a quick career retrospective on him? Because I forgot.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'll just click on his username. Why don't we look at the Wikipedia article just to refresh myself on where the fuck he go? Okay. So, he ended up leaving the WWE after his cabinet run because...
Well, not exactly, because I think the cabinet was over by the time he has this match, so.
Right. The cabinet was over. He was still, trying to make it work, but then I think he got released in...
I think it was 06.
06. And his last appearance was on an episode of Velocity against Gunnar Scott. You remember Gunnar Scott?
I know that. I do remember who that is, but I don't remember anything about him type of thing, so...
Yeah, Gunnar Scott is Brent Albright.
I have no clue who that is.
So he wrestled for... He was bigger in Ohio Valley Wrestling than he was in WWE. He was in the WWE...
We're supposed to be doing Orlando Jordan here.
Oh, no, we'll get to him. But, yeah, he got released as well in 2006. So, Gunnar Scott did not last long, just as long as fucking Jordan did.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was his last match, was against Gunnar Scott on Velocity. From 2006 to 2010, Jordan began competing on the independent circuit soon after his WWE departure after wrestling overseas, most notably in New Wrestling Evolution, a promotion based in Italy, and he also wrestled in New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Wow. I can't believe that.
I wonder why. Maybe it's because the person that was running the company was like, shoot a fighter, bring him in. Push.
Yeah.
Well, he really wanted that MMA influence, did Inoki. And then let's see. We go from there.
I know he goes. I know he makes his way to TNA eventually.
He does make his way to TNA, yes. But but even before then, he was in a new NWE championship. He was the NWE champion, so he was a world champion in Italy. There
you go. He got a world title.
I just want to put that out there. That's fucking absurd. And that was where he had the last in-ring match of the Ultimate Warrior.
Oh, okay.
Where Warrior, of course, beat him and he lost the belt. And then that was his last match for a while until TNA, where he was on the Hogan tour. And then he became weird and really wanted to express that he's bi. And how did they have him express that he was bi? Squirting lotion as if it was cum all over himself.
Oh, okay. I thought
that's
what
it was.
A different way with that. Yeah.
That's what it was. And he had a feud with Rob Terry where he wanted to fuck him, but Rob Terry said none of it. So Jordan got mad and beat him up. And yeah, TNA in 2010. The less said about it, the better. It sucked ass.
You'll be doing a rebooking of that.
Oh, can't wait, because it will not include this motherfucker. I'll be honest with you. Look, I don't mind you expressing your sexuality, but fucking Darren Young / Fred Rosser expresses his sexuality. You don't see him doing this shit that Orlando Jordan did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The only time Orlando Jordan was ever relevant and actually funny in TNA was when Eric Young was teaming with him. And he thought they were fucking.
Yeah. Wasn't the whole thing too, Eric Young didn't even know he was gay type of thing too? Because he had the mental... So that was what made it funny?
Yes.
It was really Eric Young that was really making that work, not even fucking
which is at least Orlando Jordan fed into him.
Yeah. Can we talk about this by the way? Before we get, I like how New Japan brings in Fred Rosser, and he's got the same wrestling background pretty much that Orlando Jordan one had, and he's flourished more in New Japan than fucking Orlando Jordan did. That's just hilarious.
Yeah. How about this one? So this is after TNA. This is after his last match was against. So while Jordan was taken off television, he was gone after the feud with Rob Terry. From the looks of this,
okay.
Jordan's last TNA match took place on July 2nd, 2011, at a TNA live event. Where Eric Young and Amazing Red defeated Robbie E., Brutus Magnus, and Doug Williams in a 6-man tag match. So he was teaming up with Orlando Jordan and Amazing Red.
Well, Amazing Red.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? Poor Brutus Magnus and I don't even say poor Robbie E. And Doug Williams.
Wasn't Brutus Magnus not good back then though? This was still
he was getting better though. None of these guys deserve to fucking deal with that bullshit. I'm sure they carried Jordan through it, but yeah, he was released right after that. It was reported that Jordan had been released from TNA literally after this event. I think this took place in England, by the way. But then he would show up in 2011 yet again in the NWA. Shocker. Facing Steve Anthony in a lumberjack mask, but lost the match. Of course he did. And then Outback Championship Wrestling, and then he was the AWE Heavyweight Champion. Jordan beat AWE Heavyweight Champion Luke Knight, and then got the championship. I don't know. And then he would drop the title weeks later, so they clearly did not have many hopes for him. He was a transitional champion. Orlando is now mainly semi-retired, but occasionally appears for All Star Wrestling Australia promotion based in Sydney. So I guess he's living in Sydney now.
Yeah, look up his personal life because I'm pretty sure something came out about his personal life like recently. Like,
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, it actually does say here. So apparently he was misdiagnosed with autism as a child, which actually that's fucked. I feel bad for him there, because like when any misdiagnosis of that nature is fucked, because it screws with your psychology, because they treat you as if you have this, and then it turns out you don't have it. That completely turns your world upside down. So I'm sure that couldn't have felt great. He also had speech difficulties. I assume that's over his lisp. Attended classes to help him overcome them. He has a lisp. I never liked that. Shit like that always pissed me off. He competed in gymnastics as a child. Was an amateur wrestler. Yeah, so like this is what I'm saying. Like he could have been great because he had all the tools to be a great wrestler. Because he was a former amateur wrestler. So yeah, he even attended Boise State University and did that. And then Richmond, Virginia, he was a high school collegiate athlete, like super. He almost won apparently All-American award. And then he, obviously the reputable amateur boxer thing. Then in 2011, Jordan is the co-owner along with independent wrestler Luke Cox. Jordan. Really? Luke Cox. Nice.
Isn't he good?
No, think about it. Luke Cox.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, I had to make that joke. It was right there. Of Wildcat Sports and Wildcat with a K-A-T Sports and Entertainment, professional wrestling training center outside local New Orleans. Oh, what? Wait. Oh, okay. So I guess he travels between Melbourne and New Orleans because he's based in this out of New Orleans. Shit.
Okay.
Well, I mean, you know what? Good for him. Good for him. I hope he's doing well then.
Oh, okay.
Fuck that.
I always thought I thought I heard something like he had like some type of sexual allegation that came out about him. So maybe I was wrong. Maybe it was someone else I was thinking of then. So
No,
that's what I was having to go
that
through.
wasn't. I know who you're thinking of. That ain't him. No,
Okay.
no. Jordan's actually good. Jordan's actually a good dude.
Okay.
It just be better in the ring. Stick to what you were good at, and that was actually wrestling. It's weird that you kind of strayed away from that, dude. I don't know. Anyway,
Continuing with the show, I think we'll just get this out of the way now. That's the only career retrospective we have to do. Everybody else that's on this show, we've done a career retrospective.
I just wanted to talk about that TNA bit because I know there is not going to be an opportunity where we'll ever talk about how bad that TNA run was of Orlando Jordan.
Hey, don't assume anything. I might be picking that as I might be.
No, you won't.
Penny.
You and I both know you won't. You'd be like, this shit sucks. We're picking a different retro. You'll be halfway through then and you'll be like, I made a mistake. I made such a bad mistake.
Hey, there's been retros I've picked that have been bad that like you didn't think I was gonna pick those retros. So don't.
That's
don't tell
fair.
Me
That's fair. But I think you have better standards. Put it that way. Anyway.
Next, Eddie Guerrero's backstage. Vicky Guerrero comes up to him and she tells Eddie Guerrero that what he's doing is wrong, trying to basically take Dominic Mysterio away from Rey Mysterio. And she said that she's not doing this because he loves his son. She says that he's doing this because he's just obsessed with the fact that he can't beat Rey Mysterio. And she says that this is not what Eddie Guerrero would do. And Eddie Guerrero takes this as if Vicky Guerrero is trying to say that she doesn't think Eddie Guerrero can beat Rey Mysterio. And, Eddie Guerrero says that tonight he's going to prove that he can beat Rey Mysterio, and he's going to do it for his son, Dominic, tonight. As bad as the storyline was, I did think the segment here between Eddie and Vicky.
Well, because Eddie's so good, dude. You could give him a pile of shit at this point and he would turn it to fucking platinum.
Yeah. But I thought Vicky was even good here. This is like before she became like a regular.
Well, Vicky always had the chops. I don't think she even realized it then, but like any segment they gave her, man, she nailed it out of the park every time.
But yeah, this was good stuff here. I thought I liked the segments. What do you think?
It was good. I thought
As goofy as it is, type of
it was
thing.
a great.
So,
It was a great segment because Eddie really kind of sold it.
yeah.
I mean, it's still absurd that this is over the custody of a child, and like, holy shit, what the fuck? But
But we'll
like,
talk about that later. Yeah.
it is great. It's great how Eddie's able to kind of sell it to you. Like he's not overboard with it. Like you believe what he's saying. He makes you believe in what he's saying.
Yeah. We say that though, that even though there's a ladder match on the show that's for the custody of the child, it's not even the worst thing on this show, and that's the next match: Edge versus Matt Hardy. Some.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the feud first. So obviously, Edge and Matt Hardy go back to the old days in the Attitude Era when they faced off in the TLC Classics with TLC 1. Up until what? Probably, I think the only one they weren't in was probably 4, right? On the one on Raw, because they weren't even on Raw type of thing. So that's the only one they weren't in. But they basically had the classic TLC matches, the ones at SummerSlam 2000, WrestleMania 17, and the SmackDown where they had the 4-way one in 2001. And then they separated from each other for a while because they both did their own things in the singles ranks. And then during this time, on Raw, Matt Hardy suffered an injury. This is where it's not kayfabe anymore, by the way. Matt Hardy suffered a knee injury, and basically he had to be taken off the road and all that type of stuff. And Lita was still on the road. So we found out that Lita cheated on Matt Hardy. She ended up dating Edge. They had just finally put them together on screen a couple months before this. And during this time, Matt Hardy, I think he went on a shoot interview. I forget which one, if it was one for the company, but he went on a shoot interview and he basically told what actually happened. Like, mentioned that because Matt Hardy and Lita were dating.
And by the way, contrary to a popular belief, like not a lot of people realize that like it was on Bite This, and Matt cut that scathing promo on Lita. And then, like he just Hardy blasted her. And this was approved beforehand. Like, it happened, and then the week later, Matt, while he was still injured, that's when McMahon called him into their offices, and he's like, "Listen, we gotta make this look real. I gotta legitimately fire you, to sell the realness of this shit." And make it, try to make it look like he released confidential information, and then you could do like a couple of indie dates just to really sell this, but then we're gonna bring you back. We're gonna pay you for the time you were gone, and then we're gonna shoot this. If you guys do not work with each other, I will blackball you from this industry, and you will never ever compete in wrestling again. That's exactly what Vince threatened them with, and they said, "Yes, sir." This is the example that I use all the time when talking about the Elite bullshit, because like, if they were able to put their shit aside, and by the way, they're best friends again, like they're good friends again, so it's like that's obviously water under the fucking bridge type shit. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and look at.
Fuck, I don't know. Like, if they can put their shit aside, why can't Pluck the Elite type of thing? Which they have, I think they have now, but like, that's the example I always used and went back to a lot.
Yeah. But they went, Matt Hardy did the shoot interview, then, he got fired for the reasons that you said and all that type of stuff. And Matt Hardy became like a hot free agent. Let's also talk about this too, because if you think about it, this was the perfect time for this, because this is when shoot interviews. They were so
hot. They were so popular back then, especially RFW video was like huge in those, and Shawn Oliver as well. Like they were popping off.
Yeah, like if you think about it, by the way, like as bad as WCW Bash at the Beach 2000 is, if Vince Russo had just done that in this time frame, it would have been huge. By the way. But, obviously, I mean, that was a bit too shoot, but the shoot hole, it would have connected more. It just didn't connect back then. So Vince McMahon was actually on board with this type of thing. But Matt Hardy was fired. He did some indie dates. Everybody thought at this time that Matt Hardy was going to go to TNA, because if his brother was in TNA around this time, So everyone thought he was going to go there, and that would have really turned TNA around. That would have been the biggest signing that they would have had at that time. And then, everyone thought he was going to go to ROH, and, I think it was almost the last day of his no-compete clause. Vince signed him to a contract again. And then, they just were off to the races. Everything was they really went and played up to this. They had, Matt Hardy attack Edge backstage and just beat the crap out of him. And it was really you believe this angle was real type of thing. Matt Hardy and Edge were Matt Hardy was referring to Edge by his real name. At the time, too, this was probably when Edge is really breaking out of his show and becoming the main eventer type of thing. He's really breaking into the Ultimate Opportunist gimmick. He has the Money in the Bank briefcase at the time, and they're just really launching the rocket ship up to him. This got Lita finally relevant again, just because she got to be the heel that everybody not wanted her to be. So this got Lita noticed again, and this storyline was red hot. We found out that Edge, the kayfabe reason is Edge went to Vince and asked him to hire Matt, so that way anything that he doesn't match would be legal in WWE type of thing. He wouldn't get arrested for it. So it led to the match at SummerSlam. Matt Hardy was cutting passionate promos at the time. Matt Hardy was red hot at the time. He was probably the hottest thing in the business at this time. That's how good this was. Then the match happens.
Oh yeah.
I'll going through it. For some reason, Edge just didn't come out with his fucking briefcase here, which was odd. I think everyone would say that's recency bias because you're so used to the Money in the Bank contract holder coming out with their briefcase. No, Edge always came out to this fucking briefcase. I don't know why the fuck he didn't come out with this briefcase here. That didn't make any sense at all. The match already has a fucking handicap, by the way. It's a fucking regular one-on-one match. It's not an unsanctioned match. It's not a fucking no-holds-barred match. A personal rivalry like this. It's just a regular one-on-one match. That didn't make any fucking sense. Right. But, we can look past that. They could have done the, ref was lenient type of thing. But the match starts. Matt Hardy and Edge just brawl all over the place. Matt Hardy throws Edge into the steps. He bounces him head first off of the apron. They get into the ring. The match officially starts. They just start pounding away on each other. And it's just a fight. It's kind of like what you would see in a fight IRL, but everyone's really into it. It's really connecting.
Right.
Edge spears Matt Hardy through the ropes, which was awesome. And he starts pounding away on Matt Hardy some more. Matt Hardy fights back on Edge. He gets a really good clothesline. He just starts wailing away with punches on him. And then he starts punching him in the corner. And this is where the match goes downhill. Edge, he slips out of it. And he sends Matt Hardy head first, on the top of the ring post. And obviously at the time, the ring posts were actual ring posts, like AEW had. It's not LED ring posts and all that type of stuff. So Matt Hardy gets busted open here. And Edge just lays into Matt Hardy. He works over the open wound, hits double big boots onto him. And this is to the point where eventually the referee just has to call the match. Matt Hardy can no longer continue. And basically, that's the end of the match. Edge wins, and the crowd booed the shit out of this. They did not like this at all. And let's talk about, this feud, by the way, that's a blood feud. You know how long this went? This went, let me get the fucking time right here. This is according to Wikipedia. This didn't even go 5 minutes. It went 4 minutes and 50 seconds. What a fucking disgrace that was.
What a bullshit thing, dude. For real. This was so dumb. This was so... Yeah. How nearsighted did you have to be to, do this finish? Because, seriously, and it's you could have done the cage match you did on Raw here. It called for it early. You could have done the final blow-off as a Hell in a Cell. So the fact that they just didn't... it chaps my ass still.
It's not even that, this ruins Matt. This proves, by the way, that Vince McMahon was always more of a fan of Jeff than Matt. Because I say this, I guarantee you, if this was Jeff Hardy in this spot, Jeff Hardy would have fucking won the match, and he would have done this properly. It's always Vince never liked Matt Hardy. I don't know why that is. Matt Hardy was white hot at this time, and he just really kills all his steam. Because the worst part about it too, Edge kicks Matt Hardy's match the whole match. Matt Hardy doesn't hit any of his signature moves in the match. I get it's a fight type of thing. You wouldn't be doing that type of shit. But Matt Hardy barely does anything in this match. He doesn't do like Edge gets more of the shine here. And I don't get that. I get you were trying to build Edge, but Edge was going to be fine. Edge could have recovered from this. This needed to be a Matt Hardy victory here. It didn't even make any sense.
Yeah. At the very least, do that, and then if you want to do the fucking beatdown and do it exactly how you did it for the finish of this match, go for it. But like, yeah, he should have won. Yeah. He should have won here, and then you could have fucking done something after. Yeah.
This should have been something. I mean, I want to do a fantasy book and probably rebook Matt Hardy. This should have gone to Mania, honestly.
Oh my god, yeah. It should have been Matt Hardy versus Edge for the title. Yeah. I stand by that. It should have been those two for the title. Because that was the hottest thing going in 05.
Yeah.
But
you want to know why? My evidence this is a bad finish. This is an opinion. What's Matt Hardy? How's Matt Hardy after the? Matt Hardy's popularity gone in 2 months after this. Gone in 2 months.
Yep.
It's done. This match is 1 3/4 stars. It starts off and then all of a sudden it just falls off a fucking cliff. This is fucking awful. It's one thing to have a bad match, but this is like a bad match that hurts one of your hottest acts in the company. And I don't get why Vince booked it this way. It didn't make any sense. What would you give this as like a star rating? It's a fucking waste.
Star rating, huh? Oh my god. You know what? I'm gonna give it -2 stars. It's what the fuck were they thinking?
Oh, I bet. By the way, I think I said 1 3/4. I misspoke. I meant 1 1/4. That's what I have in my notes right here. So.
Yeah, no, I rate it even lower than that. I rate it two stars.
I don't blame. But -2 stars, by the way. So, I don't blame you. It's bad. Probably what would you say? This is the worst match that they've ever had in their careers, probably in terms of what could have been type of thing.
Oh fuck yeah, because again they would have an awesome cage match, a great ladder match.
And the worst part about those matches, they finally do the cage match. It's too fucking little, too late at that point.
Yeah.
When once they do the fucking cage match, Matt Hardy's steam's gone.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly, and you couldn't have fucking bungled this more if you tried.
If you were gonna do this, by the way, if you were gonna do this, not even this finish, if you were just gonna really not even have much of a match, just don't even book the match. Just have a brawl. Do a polar pop brawl. They've done this. They've done that before.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep. Fucking don't even have the match. Just have them fight all over the arena and then do that. It's bullshit, you're false advertising to a point, but at least it makes sense and furthers the angle that this is real, you know?
Yeah.
Do something like that instead of what the fuck they did here is have the match, have the bell ring, and then end it via this bullshit. Even then, for those of you to be Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn ended in a technical knockout, yeah, that made more sense because it was after a long, grueling match that both of them competed in.
Yeah.
This was not that.
Yeah. Imagine NXT TakeOver, first match of Gargano Ciampa. This is the fucking finish type of thing.
Oh my god, people would have rioted in the street.
Yeah.
Especially in New Orleans. You kidding me? Fuck.
But then, then the show gets weird. And look, I'll say this: the next match is much better because Eddie and Ray made something out of nothing. Let's get to the next match. It's a ladder match for the custody of Dominic Mysterio. It's Eddie Guerrero versus Rey Mysterio.
Just the fucking sentence is still crazy to this day.
I will say this. Let's say this before we break down the storyline. As bad as it is, in a weird way, it benefited the industry today because without this storyline, we don't have the best heel in WWE at the moment, probably.
But I don't think that relates to this storyline.
It broke Dominic the business. It kind of showed him what the business was.
Oh my fuck! You know what? I should have Dominic hung up by a hook for Hangman style while fucking Ray and Eddie try to get him.
That'd be funny.
On the thumbnail, that's what I'm gonna do. If you see it, it's because of me.
So the reason for the storyline started off well. Eddie and Ray had history in WCW. They had classics, obviously. Go watch Halloween Havoc 1997 retro for that perspective. They transferred it into WWE, and they were the tag champs. They had a match with each other at WrestleMania 21. Where Ray won, and the whole bit of the storyline was that no matter what, Eddie Guerrero could not beat Rey Mysterio. Anytime they faced off, Ray always won. I mean, obviously, WWE retold history because Eddie has beaten Ray before, but you kind of have to go check your brain on the door on that one. And eventually caused him to turn heel, and he brutalized Rey Mysterio. I think that's the worst beating I think Ray's ever received in a wrestling match.
Oh my fuck yeah, yeah! It's a crazy goddamn beatdown, brainbuster on the steps and shit, right?
Yeah,
it was great.
And then the build up to the Great American Bash match, Eddie Guerrero revealed that he had a secret, and he said that if Rey Mysterio beat him at the Great American Bash, he would not reveal the secrets. And Ray did beat him at the Great American Bash. However, Eddie lied. As bad as it is, I know it's WWE copping out of the finish. Because it's Eddie, it fucking made sense.
Because he lies, he cheats, he steals still. It worked. Yeah. And, yeah, man, like... And then when he did that... This got major heat, by the way. Everywhere Eddie went by that point, Eddie was a fucking heat magnet, dude.
Yeah.
These people hated him, and not even the same year he was a beloved babyface, who had just been the world champion a year prior to that.
And a month, by the way, later, he becomes kind of a babyface again too. Like, yeah. Also, if you remember, he has a theme song change. I don't love it all that much, but that's the point. I don't think you're supposed to like the theme song type of thing. Like,
I really I don't know if they released it on Uncaged yet. I hope it comes out. Please release Gangsta Lane, please. Yeah. Holy shit, I want that song so bad. It sounds so dope for his gimmick. It's about time I step into the Gangsta Lane. I wish they used that longer, dude.
Well, he didn't pass, so that's why they.
Yeah, I know, but fuck, man, that would have been awesome. Like, at least release it. You know, as what Eddie Guerrero's team would have been had he not died. Like that you could have titled it that, but yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, let's get to what the secret was. Obviously, that's why we're here. Eddie Guerrero revealed that Ray wasn't Dom's father. Eddie Guerrero was his father, and. They don't show this in the video package, but I'm pretty sure if I'm correct, the reason for this was that Rey Mysterio and Angie kept trying to have a child, and they weren't able to have kids. So Eddie Guerrero allowed Rey Mysterio to basically adopt Dominic, type of thing. But I guess it wasn't official, which kind of makes sense. And Eddie Guerrero wanted he showed Rey Mysterio custody papers. And Eddie Guerrero wanted basically Ray to hand over his son to Eddie. Eddie Guerrero wanted Ray to hand his son over to him. Right. At this time, Dominic Mysterio, is upset because basically everything that he knows is a lie. Pretty much, he didn't understand what was going on.
Is it true, Daddy? Is it true? It's exactly how he said it. And I'm like, oh my god. Dude, when I was a kid, I was super into this. I won't even hold you. I bought this whole thing, and my dad was like, I think my dad might have even been laughing because the absurdity of it all. But like, I believed this so much. Like Dom being Eddie's son when that wasn't at all the case, like IRL. But, like, just that idea of that being the case is crazy, dude.
So they do the segment where Ray's going to hand off Dominic, and Ray's kind of thinking to himself, like, obviously Eddie's only doing this just because he wants to get under Rey Mysterio's skin. He does this pretty much so that way he can have another match with them, type of thing. And this gives Ray something to fight for. So Ray challenged him to a match where the winner gets the custody of Dominic. And he's able to goad him to do it because he mentions that all that Dominic's ever going to know about Eddie Guerrero is that he couldn't beat Rey Mysterio. And he actually calls him a chicken shit, by the way, on TV. Like,
yeah, I love that. Like really just throwing the PG aspect of SmackDown out the window at that time too, just to kind of further the angle. I will say, they did not fucking bullshit this at all. Like, they really kind of put this over the top. Like, the acting from Ray and Eddie in this was really good. You gotta give them credit.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's what's gonna happen. There's gonna be a ladder match for the custody of a child. It's again,
so absurd. Just that sentence every time. The custody of a child is on the line.
You know, I know a lot of people shit talk this. I know a lot of people shit talk this storyline, and as bad as it is, no one else could have done the storyline but Eddie.
No way! Are you kidding me? This would have died a death if it was anybody but Eddie and Ray. They picked the perfect two to do this stupid sports entertainment shit, man. Like, and the thing is, it was good. It was good TV. They made it great. Like, every week, every segment was awesome because it all stemmed back to the heart of the issue, which was actually the fact that Eddie just wanted to fucking get at Ray by any means necessary, and he didn't even give a shit if that meant he was a fucking homewrecker to do it. That was awesome television. Like, because they knew how to bring it back to wrestling. That's the thing. Like, these people know how to work.
Yeah,
that's why, you know.
I will say this: they easily could have gone about it a different way. Like Eddie could have just said, Eddie could have just put his career on the line or something. Like whoever loses has to leave the company, type of thing. But
then we wouldn't be talking about it years later of the absurdity of it anyway, though. Yeah. So
and
in a way, it's like shit. I mean, this worked. It's stupid, but it worked. You know.
And again, as stupid as it is. Would Dom be in the business today? Because this is kind of what, you know, Dom did this as a kid. This is kind of what leads Dom to kind of get interested in wrestling. And if you don't have Dom, you don't have he's the top heel in the business right now. What does the business look like? And yes, Jans, I didn't say Dom is the top heel in the business. I would say if you listen to the reactions Dom gets every week, he's the top heel in the business. I think it's no question about that. But. Yeah, going through the match. We have the match, and it's just an excellent ladder match. Eddie Guerrero, I like that he came out in street clothes here. You know, it really showed the fact that he was kind of coming here for a fight. The commentators are selling this really well. Taz and Michael Cole mentioning, you know, yes, Eddie's his father, but like Ray's really his father because he's the one that's raised Dominic Mysterio. And Taz mentions, you know, how he would feel this way if it was his son. Michael Cole, though, really brings this home because he mentions, like, I'm an adoptive father, and I know what Ray's going through right here. Like, Michael Cole really sold
Michael Cole, and by the way, that's a shoot, by the way, what Cole did. Like, it shouldn't have worked. It shouldn't have worked, but god damn it did. Like, they actually sold the realism of it, and it's like, it turned. A lot of people said it tuned them off, but I don't know, man. Like, SmackDown needed something, and they were getting some high viewership for those segments, and the numbers don't lie on that.
I think what happened too, I'm just guessing here because they lost the big main event angle that was gonna really be the viewership of SmackDown. They needed something. We'll get to what they lose in a second. But yeah, going through the match. Eddie Guerrero starts off this match like really aggressive. He attacks Ray. He throws him. I was with some hard way into the buckle. He throws him into the ladder. And I like how they're getting this over the storyline where Ray's trying, but his heart's not in it type of thing. I think, you know, Eddie got to his head type of thing. Because Eddie, he really dominates this match for a good chunk of it. Eddie grabs the ladder. He hits Ray across the spine with it, hits him across the ribs. He puts the ladder onto him. And he does like a flip senton over the ropes, and he completely wipes out Ray while he's on the ladder. Rey Mysterio gets some offense in. He hits a springboard hurricanrana and sending Eddie into the barricade. What I actually love, by the way, is during the entrances. I don't want to make sure I don't miss this. When Eddie comes out, he just kind of giving Dominic Mysterio like this stern look, like trying to intimidate him type of thing. And then Ray comes out and he gives like Dom a fist pump. After Ray does the fist pump, Eddie tries to go out there just to outdo Rey Mysterio and try to get a fist bump, and he can't get a fist bump on Dom. Like, I thought that was awesome.
That was great. And by the way, talk about being an actor, child actor of the year award right here to Dominic. I was just saying, like he knew what his assignment was here.
By the way, did you ever hear like the behind the scenes of like what was going like?
I'm curious on that. I'm actually curious on that.
So he's talked about this. There's that segment, obviously, we're at the playground. Because Dom had to shoot all day, his reward is Eddie would just keep giving him licorice, the red licorice type of thing, red Twizzlers. So he would just keep feeding him Twizzlers type of thing. And he mentioned on an A&E documentary where they have to, I forget what it's called. It's like the hidden gems, where they go look for the merchandise and all that type of stuff.
Right. Yeah.
That because he was in school at this time, like his teachers were calling him and like calling the house, asking if everything was going okay at home because the storyline was going on at the same time. All the kids were asking him, like they were wondering, like, was Ray really not your dad this whole time? And they were like asking how he felt about it and all that type of stuff. And Dom said like he was told to keep kayfabe, so he had to pretend like Eddie was actually his dad, like to these kids.
Fuck me, man. Yeah, he had to pretend like crazy. Dude, the teachers must have been pissed when they found out it was an angle.
I know.
Like, holy shit.
Well, I think Ray and Angie had to come open with the teachers for obvious reasons. I think but the kids themselves,
the kids themselves didn't know, and yeah, but I'm sure they got a bunch of parental complaints because God forbid they let somebody live out their fucking dream of acting with their fucking legendary luchador father and uncle in a goddamn angle on TV. Yeah. God forbid,
But yeah, continuing my breakdown of the match, Ray does the he does a springboard splash while Eddie has a ladder on top of him. Eddie does the three amigos, and he does the third suplex onto the ladder, which just looked like it destroyed Wade.
Dude, this was so good, man. It was going so great.
Ray Irish whips Eddie, and the ladder's like leaned up against the corner. And Eddie goes face first into the ladder. Eddie at one point body slams Ray onto the steps, like the bottom part of the steel steps, and Eddie slingshots Ray into the ladder, and he slams Ray onto a ladder. He stacks another ladder onto him, and he does another corkscrew senton onto the ladder, like while Ray's sandwiched in between two ladders. It was just insane. And then he tries to go for the briefcase at one point. Ray does a sunset flip powerbomb. They kind of screwed it up, obviously, but I still, to be honest, that screw up actually benefited the match. I thought it made the spot look better.
Yeah, I did too. Although I will say, God damn it, where the fuck was Vicky? They had to cut that out.
No, that wasn't. That's later.
You're talking about the spot where they were trying to like balance, but they both collapsed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then
no, I agree.
Yeah. And then Ray does his comeback. He does a 619 while Eddie has a ladder in front of him, which was cool. And I couldn't believe this. This was Ray's first ladder match ever. I always thought that he had other ladder matches, but this was his first ladder match like ever in the business, which was insane. I always thought he had like one in WCW or something, but this was his first ladder match. And then we'll get to the big thing. So Eddie puts Ray's down at one point. I think Eddie's hit a frog splash onto him. And he puts the ladder onto Ray like there's just no way to get out of it. By the way, before this happens, we should mention there's a bit where Dominic Mysterio tries to come in and tip the ladder over because this happens before this happens. And obviously he can't because he's only, I think 8 years old at this time. So Eddie gets down. He's intimidating Dom in the corner. He's about to hit Dom, and Ray has to intervene, and he just destroys Eddie here, which was awesome. Like I liked this because this finally got Ray to get that fire under his belly to like take the fight to Eddie. But we'll get to the biggest talking point of this match. Eddie has a ladder over Ray, and there's like no way to get out of this. Like it's over his neck, like type of thing. And Eddie's clearly gonna win this match. He's gonna grab the briefcase,
right?
But he's stalling. It's basically Jack Swagger from WrestleMania 26 all over again. Except this is not supposed this is not supposed to happen. So Ray has to improvise. He grabs the ladder and he just tips the ladder like he does like a good boot of strength. And Eddie, Ray pulls Eddie off of the ladder, like he's just hanging just in nowhere. And then Eddie, he nearly blows out his knee. Let's also talk about this too. This was revenge because Eddie did this earlier to Ray, and he lands face first off of the ladder from the briefcase.
Yeah, that was fucked, by the way. Fucked.
Yeah. But yeah, Eddie like could have blown out his knee, and Eddie screams,
"God damn it! Where the fuck was Vicky?"
That it is in the network, but the audio's cut. So
yeah, they cut the fuck out of that audio, but it aired over the pay-per-view feed.
Oh yeah,
and the crowd heard it too, by the way, which was the worst part.
Yeah. So Vicky Guerrero was supposed to come out here, but she missed her cue.
Yeah, and you know what it is? That's Eddie Guerrero being super angry that this was ever an angle that they pitched, but they made it work, and they were taking it so seriously, and so when this fucking happened, after they put their all into it, it's like, fuck me, you fucking jack-off producers really aren't gonna send my wife to fucking stop me from grabbing this contract, really?
And I think so.
How are you going to blow the spot and it's not even our fault?
Yeah. Not even that. He almost blew his fucking knee out, too. Like, the guy could have injured his knee right there, too. That's probably why he's so pissed, too. He could have blown his knee out. So then they have to get... So then they... Basically, the rest of the match here is they're kind of improvising a little bit. This does prove, by the way, that Vince Russo's booking of, like, trying to do the shoot finish just didn't work because they go right to the fucking finish pretty much when this happens. Which, if you haven't noticed, that never happened when Vince Russo did the shoot finishes. They never went like right to the finish.
No, not at all.
I think Eddie just lays out Ray again, and then Vicky finally comes out. She tips the ladder over onto sending Eddie crashing, and Ray climbs up, and Eddie's about to climb up too. And Vicky Guerrero actually, pushes down Eddie Guerrero, like prevents him from climbing the ladder, and allows Ray to grab the custody papers that's in the briefcase. And Ray wins the match. And Eddie's obviously pissed about this, but I do like though that Vicky doesn't really want to do this. She's just doing this because it's the right thing to do. Like it's not like she's turning on her husband or anything like that.
I love that. I love that. That was the thing. Yeah. Like she was the rock in a hard place throughout this whole thing, yeah.
Yeah, afterwards, Ray and Dominic Mysterio rejoice. They hug it out and all that type of stuff. And then afterwards, Eddie's pissed. Ray comes back into the ring and bashes Eddie over the head with the briefcase. Thinking back in hindsight, I think probably the reason Edge probably didn't come out with his briefcase, I wonder if they borrowed his briefcase so that way they could just do this fucking match instead of making another briefcase. This looked like a lot like Edge's Money in the Bank fucking pound. Money in the Bank contract.
It probably was, to be honest. That's probably what it was. They're like, hey, Edge, can we borrow your briefcase?
But I thought this match was great. I gave this like 4.25 stars. It was just a great match right here. And I love this. As goofy as the story is, I love the storytelling from what they had to tell. Again, I feel like anybody else but Ray and Eddie would not have made this work. I think they really had to make something out of... They had to make a chicken salad out of chicken shit right here.
Yeah, that's just great. I mean, say what you will about the angle and everything and the absurdity of it, but this was easily to me like a 4.75 stars. I'm just pissed for Eddie that match couldn't have been a 5 because it should have been, and then fucking the producers fucked it over and blew the spot.
Yeah,
like that's the thing, but it was still fun.
This would be Eddie's last SummerSlam. Really, this is like, even though he gets into the feud with Batista, this is like his last like big feud because like I know the Batista feud happened, but he died during the feud. So I would say this is. Would you say this is Eddie's last real feud, like big feud?
Yeah,
really?
This was his last big feud. Yeah, it was with with Rey Mysterio.
Which I think is very kind of fitting, I guess. I mean, it's not great. In 2015, Ray said in an interview this was his favorite match of all time. I don't know if that's changed since then because he's obviously wrestled longer since then. But, I imagine that it probably hasn't. But, just because he got to kind of be Eddie's final, like, big feud and all that type of stuff. And you can watch this for the lulz a little bit because Michael Cole and Taz keep mentioning on commentary. And this is the benefit of hindsight that this. Imagine how Dominic is here. This is probably going to traumatize him when he gets older and all that type of stuff. stuff. Oh boy, did it ever fucking
Yeah. Because
Yeah,
now he's
it
with
did.
mommy, and now he's got an Oedipus complex apparently.
Yeah, so yeah.
Yeah, it definitely
But Dominic-
traumatized poor Dominic.
Dominic didn't forget, so
No, Dominic didn't forget. He became a criminal. It was bad.
And again,
it was bad.
I will say this, like, even though this angle's goofy, without this angle, who knows if Dom would have ever gotten into wrestling? So, you know. Obviously, too, they would have one more match, Ray and Eddie. They would have that cage match on SmackDown that Eddie would go on to win. And
Yeah,
that was really good stuff.
Which
so.
was the way he win was so fucked. He beat the shit out of him towards the end of the match, and then he was gonna climb out the cage. He's like, "No, fuck that. I know he's out.
Yeah.
I'm gonna prove a point," and then pinned him for the 3 count.
Yeah, so that was good stuff.
That was awesome shit. Like, just to prove a point, he finally got the pin win on Ray. I don't.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Did Eddie ever win against Ray in WCW? I don't think he did.
He beat him for the Cruiserweight belt, like on Nitro at one point.
Okay, so other than that, though, that was the only other time that I think he ever got a pin on Ray.
I think he did beat him one more time. I think they had a match when Eddie was WWE champion. He won that match also.
Oh, really? They had a match for the WWE title on SmackDown?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Unless it just didn't.
I gotta watch that.
So, yeah. But yeah, I think again too. This also helped. This feud did wonders for Ray because this helped him see him as like he could have been a future main eventer. I know I'm not gonna get a real answer from you because you're a big Ray boy. I know a lot of people think just because Eddie passed, that's the only reason Ray still got the world title. He probably wouldn't have got it at that time, but I still think Ray would have gotten a world title at some point, whether Eddie lived or not. I think Eddie would have pushed for Ray to get a world title at some point, honestly. So, what do you think? Do you think Ray would have gotten a world title, whether if Eddie had lived, type of thing? Because I think he would have gotten the world title at some point.
Yeah, I think so too. I think at one point, a lot of people say, well, first off, repeat the question because I want to make sure I answer it.
A lot of people say because of Eddie's passing, that's the only reason Ray ever got a world title.
Ray would have gotten a world title eventually. I think even without Eddie's passing, I think it was eventually going to happen. I think that if Eddie had survived, he would have had that dream match with Michaels for the world title.
Mm-hmm.
Then he would have gone on to SummerSlam the next year, and it would have had a rematch, and instead of Ray and Chavo, I think it would have been Ray and Eddie for the world title, and that's where Ray would have won it. Because where did that SummerSlam take place in 2006? Boston, right? Yeah, so I think that's where it would have happened. And
Maybe.
if it didn't happen there, I could have seen the California shows, one of the California shows, and like maybe a trilogy of matches in that year where Ray wins the belt. But I think eventually he would have gotten the belt. I think a lot of people don't realize how much they valued Ray at that point, even before Eddie Guerrero passing. I think they always wanted to make him world champion. They just didn't know how. And I think Eddie was really championing him at that point to be the champion. So, yeah, he had a lot of people on his side making him the world champion. He was going to win it eventually, I think. Yeah.
It does change the timeline a lot because then there's Booker T, get that Ken Booker run type of thing. So it does, a lot of things do change with that. So then Chris Jericho gets interviewed. Chris Jericho talks about how tonight that he's going to beat John Cena. He talks about how he's been around the business for years. And he mentions that, when he won the Undisputed Championship, he beat Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock on the same night. He mentions that John Cena is just a flash in the pan, and he's going to prove that tonight when he beats him. Really good promo.
Such a great promo. It turned him babyface accidentally, by the way. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it did. So. But still,
they were not fans of Cena in this building at all.
But still, good stuff right here, though. So then we had the cool-down match pretty much on the night. It was a match for Kurt Angle's Olympic gold medals. It was Eugene with Christy Hemme inside versus Kurt Angle.
Damn.
The reason for this match was the Kurt Angle was having invitationals where he would put his medals on the line and stuff. And I think it was like a 5-minute or like a 3-minute challenge. Yeah. And Eugene survived the 3 minutes, and this caused this match to happen. Kind of a shitty spot for Angle to be in, but you know, it kind of sucks. At least he's on the card, I guess. But there was really no one else could have faced on you know, on Raw because all the baby faces pretty much.
Yep.
The only other person I could make a shoot is I don't know why they didn't just do Shelton Benjamin because he was a baby face at this time. They had history and they do the match anyways on Raw later anyway. So I don't know why they didn't do that. But then again, we talk about that now. That match probably would have gotten cut for time. So, you know, it kind of is what it is. But Kurt Angle destroys Eugene throughout the beginning moments of the match. He hits a really good German suplex on him. Eugene hits a really good spine buster. He goes to do some type of, you know, elbow drop, but Kurt Angle takes his head off with a clothesline. Eugene hits a electrifying Yoanagi. Kurt kicks out, and then Eugene hits the stunner. Kurt kicks out, and then eventually he gets him in the ankle lock. Angle reverses it, hits an angle slam, and makes Eugene tap to the ankle lock. And Kurt wins. Afterwards, he acts like he's going to take out Eugene with a chair, but instead they do the Olympics ceremony where like Kurt stands on the chair and he has the referee put the Olympic gold medal.
That was what the fuck was this?
This was pretty pointless. They could have just done this on Raw. This didn't need to be on the pay-per-view. I did give it 2 stars.
Dude, this angle is just Eugene, who, by the way, is like full-blown autistic, right? Mm-hmm. That's a gimmick.
By the way, fans don't like Eugene again, by the way. Second SummerSlam in a row.
Boo Eugene, second SummerSlam in a row. So they're cheering Angle throughout all this as he's beating and whipping this special boy's ass.
Yeah.
Like, this is just... It's so scuffed and weird to look on. Why would you even put yourself in this position and book this?
Yeah. I still gave it 2 stars because Kurt Angle, I thought, tried to make it something, and honestly, he looked really good in this match.
He looked great, but, like, why?
Yeah. What did you think? What would you give this as, like, a star rating? So...
I don't know, fucking 1. It wasn't much. It really wasn't much. I hate to give Angle a 1-star or anything, but it's like, dude, like, they gave you nothing, dude. They had you beat up a dude who's special. Like, and then you got cheered for it, great, but it's like, that's because they hated this angle to begin with. Nobody cared about this. They were so apathetic from the word go that they were going to cheer you and boo him. Like, that's obviously what was going to happen.
Yeah.
So, I mean, everybody wants to talk about tasteless storylines. I mean, you know, Eddie and you could make a case for Eddie and Ray. I hope they have a lot more disdain for this shit. This was awful.
Yeah, not the best. Again, I don't get why they clearly wanted a cool down match, but the next match, I mean, yeah, it wasn't. It could. I don't even think that you needed a cool down match because the next 2 matches were so different. They would have stood out on their own if you just did the next match, but we'll get to that in a second. We had the Divas segment. Basically, you see all the Divas washing a limousine. We're meant to think that it's the President of the United States at the time. I don't remember who it would have been at this time. They do say it, but I forget.
George Bush.
No, it wouldn't. Okay, so what?
It was George Bush. It was still George Bush.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then we find out that it's Vince. Vince even says, hey, a guy can dream, right? And on the back of his limousine, it says Vince for president. And thank God that, well, I should say thank God that never happened. He still's got time, so I shouldn't say that.
Don't count your chickens here. I mean, if Joe Biden's president, then he can be too. I'm just saying, Vince easily could go and run it.
Yeah. This, obviously was just whatever. As you know what, I think why this segment happened is because Vince was horny that day, and he just felt like seeing some woman in bikinis washing his limousine. So that's what I have to say about this.
Yep. Amen to that.
I wouldn't have minded this segment, but we get no fucking women's match on the show. Like the belt doesn't. I think Trish was injured. I get that, but there's no fucking women's match at all on the show. Instead, you just do this segment. They're all there. Why not have them have a match? Type of thing.
Because he didn't think women mattered. That's why. That answers that question.
I mean, I think I've always said this. You could do segments. Look at New Year's Revolution 06. You had a women's match on the show and a blonde panties match, and you know it wasn't a bad thing. Well, up until Mae Young came out, it wasn't a bad thing. Moving on. Next match was Undertaker versus Randy Orton. This is a rematch from WrestleMania 21 when Randy Orton tried to go for the streak, and he failed, obviously. And obviously they cut the feud off a little bit just because Randy Orton got injured. He was also on Raw at the time, so they couldn't really book around that. So during the draft, Randy Orton moved over to SmackDown. He really just moved over to SmackDown, if you think about it, just so he could do the storyline. Because he's back on Raw like a year later. So that's the only reason he ever moved to SmackDown. And don't let anyone else think otherwise. And I'm not complaining about that, but that's really the only reason Orton moves to SmackDown.
Right.
He cost The Undertaker a number one contendership match for the World Heavyweight title, laid him out on a couple of occasions with an RKO, which set up this match. And this was really like the building blocks. Like, yes, they had feuded before, but this was really like where the feud was really
building blocks for this feud, yes. This is what, to spend Mania, SummerSlam, and then Armageddon, right? It was a 3 pay-per-view match series, right?
They did have a No Mercy match of No Mercy and a 2-on-1 handicap match was Father teamed up with them. So,
right,
so
but I'm talking 1-on-1. But yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, this became like the best feud of 05. And Randy Orton, by the way, really should thank The Undertaker because I think I've talked about this before. This was right after his babyface run, like flopped big time thanks to Triple H. And he was going to be dead in the water if Undertaker didn't get in there and feud with them type of thing. Like, and Undertaker had no reason to use, by the way, because they've talked about this before. They were supposed to rehearse a match for Mania. Randy Orton showed up late. Like, Undertaker had no fucking reason at all to save Randy Orton's career. Like, that just shows you the good props that Undertaker had backstage and all that type of stuff. He had no reason to save Randy Orton. Like, he took a risk here type of thing.
He really did. Like, and I think a lot of people don't realize, like, Undertaker, like, taking this feud with Orton, like, especially considering how much he respected Vince and how much he respected Hunter and trying to rehabilitate him as, like, the top heel. That was a risk, you know? Because, like, they didn't see anything in Orton because they thought he was more of a problem, and he was, to be fair. But, like, Taker saw a lot in him, obviously, and it was clear as day. So, like, he put him over like we're over here, and he made him the biggest heel to the point where he was in the world title picture the very next year.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So like he really helped him get past that shit. I think it also helps, and this is I think a big factor of that too. If he did stay on Raw, he would have been dead in the water. But when he went to SmackDown, the reason the brand split worked so well, and it probably won't work again in the same way, is because you had SmackDown that was on network television and Raw, which was on cable television. I think that helped a lot because there was a lot of different. Yeah. There was different audiences. If you were poor like I was, you only had analog, so you would watch SmackDown on public access. You would watch it on UPN. So, that's true. Like watching that, you didn't know any of the shit that happened between Hunter and him. At all, unless they did like a Raw rebound and then they made it like super convincing and like, oh, this is the greatest thing that ever happened, and you wouldn't have been none the wiser, especially as a dumb kid like I was. So, like, I think it really helped that Orton went to SmackDown, where it was mainly viewed by the network television audience as opposed to the fucking people that saw what he did on Raw. So
we should mention too. We won't talk about what actually happens. What happened with Muhammad Hassan in a weird way helped Randy Orton's career because they needed another top heel at SmackDown after that happened, so they had to move Randy Orton to SmackDown. If you think about it too. So as bad as it sucks for Muhammad Hassan, in his way, it benefited Randy Orton's career also because he never probably would. Who even knows if he would have even moved to SmackDown because he would have even needed another top heel. So, but anyhow, going through the match. Undertaker's entrance here, by the way, this is an underrated entrance for the Undertaker. It's probably one of his best entrances. His entrance here for SummerSlam was absolutely awesome. It kicked so much ass.
Yeah,
like
dude,
they put a lot into it.
This is such a great entrance.
I don't think they talk about it a lot because this match gets very swept under the rug. And the match starts off. I always kind of like it too. The Undertaker came out first because he loses his mind games here because the whole thing about the Undertaker is you have to watch the entrance. Randy Orton got to come out last. That was a benefit to Randy Orton. That helped him out so much.
Yeah. Yep.
Undertaker still dominates the beginning portions of the match though. He destroys Randy Orton. He clotheslines him out of the ring. He throws him into the barricade. Randy Orton gets some offense in, but it's not much.
Right.
Eventually, Undertaker, he never hits this. He actually does hit his high knee in the corner. He never hits this move, and he actually hits it in this match. Like, it's insane. He doesn't hit the second time, but at least he hit it one of the time, so that's good. And then Randy Orton works over the leg of the Undertaker. I don't think Undertaker ever gets enough credit of how good of a seller he is because he never really has to sell. He sells his leg really well.
Yeah, I mean, I love how he sells. Taker, like, yes, you would like, well, he's a dead man. Why is he selling? But he's, he has human elements. I think a lot of people forget that. They even explained that for years.
Yeah.
So, like, the fact that we're seeing him sell is super nuts. Like, and he's always so good at it. He's so good at it. It's why I loved his matches with Brock so much, especially in Hell in a Cell match, the first one, because he sells his ass off for Brock, and he makes him look like a killer, dude. Absolute killer.
Randy Orton, he actually counters the old school, which no one else really does. He does a really good hip toss onto the Undertaker too, like off of the top turnbuckle. It was awesome. Like,
yeah, he did.
I told you, Undertaker was really trying to make Randy Orton a star here because he let Randy Orton do a lot of things to him that like no one else would have been able to do to the Undertaker at this time. Like,
no.
Not at all. And I love the comeback, by the way, because Undertaker doesn't really do a full-on comeback. He's just because he still has to sell the leg, so he doesn't. When he strings moves together, it's not really a comeback. It's just him kind of having to do moves type of thing. So it's really good stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
He does this guillotine leg drop on the outside. He hits that really good flatliner. I'm really pissed that he took that out of his arsenal because that was a really good move he had. It's like he just drives Randy Orton face first onto the floor. They both go for the tombstone, but finally Orton's able to counter it. He does the neck breaker. Randy Orton hits a really good scoop slam on Taker, and he goes for the RKO. Undertaker counters it, and then Randy Orton does the cross body. And Undertaker counters it into the choke slam. Like, the way he counters his crossbody is really good. Like, he acts like he's gonna catch him in a last call slam, but he actually catches him into a choke slam. And, like,
yeah, that was fucking gnarly. What a great catch.
I think this is the last time Orton does the crossbody too. I don't think he does the crossbody ever again.
Yeah, no, he did. It was the last time until I think Was it 2015 against did he do it against Rollins in 2015, or was it legitimately Rude in 2017? Because I know he definitely did it against Rude in 2017 for the U.S. title.
Yeah, maybe he did do it against Rude for the U.S. title.
But that was the last time he actually busted it out for that match. He hadn't busted it out since. So like that was the last time up until 2017. But I swear I could have remembered him doing it at Mania 31.
Okay,
but then again, I could be totally wrong.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've seen any of those shows, so I could be wrong too. So
watch it. Well, there is a retro, so if you want to watch it, I mean, go into the archives, video tab and shit.
We haven't done a retros on it. We just did the shows in real time review. So
didn't we? Didn't we do? We didn't do Mania 30. Oh, we did the Raw after 31.
We did the Raw after Mania, yeah. And then Undertaker goes to finish him off with a tombstone. And then a fan gets into the ring. He's trying to jump the ring. The ref and backstage personnel have to run out and make the save. Undertaker too. They actually treat this like it's actually like a fan jumps into the ring too. Like Undertaker doesn't touch him, but he does. It does eventually get to the point where Undertaker shoves him to the ground type of thing. Because as you know, when a fan enters the ring, it's fair game type of thing. Like everyone thinks well, why would Undertaker attack him? You've seen before wrestlers have attacked fans if they jump the ring, so this didn't make all the sense in the world. It's other type of thing. So
yeah, and then the reveal that it wasn't a fan and it was actually Orton's dad, Cowboy Bob Orton. Time stood still for security and everybody. It was like, what the fuck? Wait a minute.
And then before that, Orton then hits the RKO. He pins the Undertaker and he gets the victory. And then afterwards it's revealed that it's Cowboy Bob Orton, and this is the start of Randy Orton and Cowboy Bob Orton doing stuff together on TV and all that type of stuff.
All the way up until the Hell in a Cell match where he gets his hepatitis blood all over Taker in the cell. Yeah.
Great match right here, though. I thought these two worked really well together. I give it 4.25 stars. I feel like this match doesn't get talked about enough because because it was kind of added the last minute, and it's really lost in the shuffle because of the two significant things that the show's remembered for. This is personally my favorite match of the whole show. I think it's great stuff.
It's really good. It's really good. Like it's definitely the best match of the whole thing. I give this 5 easy. I really enjoyed this. This is a perfect match, perfect finish, great continuation of the feud.
And this is where I give the rant. I don't think they needed a fucking cooldown match. This match would have stood out on its own if it was right after the ladder match, because it's not like this match doesn't kick into high gear until like about the last 10 minutes or so. So it's like I don't get why they had that cooldown match with Kurt Angle. It didn't need it. It would have been fine on its own type of thing. It was different enough where like it would have stood out from the ladder match. Plus, Taker's entrance goes so long, it's not like you need a fucking cooldown match. So I don't understand why they did a fucking cooldown match. I guess they wanted to get Kurt on the show, which is whatever, but I feel like you could have found another way to get
You could have just saved Kurt. You really could have just done it. You could have had him challenge whoever won John Cena versus Chris Jericho, and that's the end of it.
Yeah, because that's what happens anyways. He faces the winner of that match for the title anyways.
No,
so.
but we had to have him beat up the autistic man. We had to. It's funny, damn it. Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
Fucking.
Next, Chris Jericho's backstage, and I almost said Eric Young, but Eric Bischoff wishes Jericho luck in the title match. Jericho said that he doesn't need it, and he said he's put in the title hole. Then we had the next match. It was for the WWE Championship. It was John Cena defending against Chris Jericho. The reason for this match was obviously John Cena got drafted over to Raw during the draft. And obviously, we've done this retro before. He does it on the highlight reel. And basically, Eric Bischoff offered that they could work together. He would basically help out John Cena, but John Cena didn't want to play ball pretty much. So Eric Bischoff basically made John Cena's life a living hell on Raw.
Yeah,
he threw a ton of challenges
starting with not getting involved in the ECW One Night Stand feud, by the way. That was happening.
That's right, yeah. That's right, yeah. So
we did that retro, too.
Mm-hmm. And then Jericho wanted to be one of the challengers. He was a babyface at this time, and Eric Bischoff said that you just need to prove to me that you need to be in the title match. And this led to Jericho turning heel on John Cena, destroying John Cena, and it led to the SummerSlam match. It was really good stuff. You know, they had really good brawls and everything like that. Behind the scenes also, too, this was going to be Jericho's last hurrah during his first run, because he was obviously going to go with Tor and Fozzy and everything like that. Ironically enough, he wasn't even supposed to wrestle Cena for the belt. He was supposed to wrestle Carlito for the Intercontinental Championship. He was obviously going to lose to that match, but Jericho wanted to wrestle Cena because he wanted to get Cena on the map, which I know you can say that sucks for Carlito, but I think it was more important to probably get Cena on the map than Carlito.
I agree. I agree with him. I hate to say it. I do.
Yeah.
He really, and quite frankly, I think Jericho was sick of the Intercontinental title bullshit, and he wanted to be in the main event for a fucking change.
Yeah.
And I even think he says that in his book, and he said it on podcasts. Is like, if I do this and actually take initiative and make something for myself, then I could be in the main event. And so I convinced them, and they put me in, and then they just never gave it to me, and then I was done. There was no reason for me to stay around because they never thought of me as a main event guy.
Yeah. Jericho, but he had to sign a 1-month extension because his contract was going to be up, I think a month before SummerSlam. So Vince tried to sign him to a part-time contract, but Jericho didn't want to do that. He wanted to completely not have to do any wrestling obligations. So Jericho agreed to do a 1-month extension. And Vince obviously wanted to sign him because he didn't want to have a repeat of what happened with Jeff Jarrett back in No Mercy 1999 type deal. So, right. Which I don't think Jericho would have done that to Vince. I know you say that, but then he also just went to AEW and did all this other shit with Vince. I think at that time, anyways, Jericho I don't think would have done that to Vince.
No, not at that time, no.
And Jericho actually had it get leaked out. Not that he only signed a month extension, that he signed an extension just so that way he could make this match more predictable. Because everyone was thinking John Cena was going to win. Which it still probably was predictable that Cena was going to win, but the fact that Jericho signed an extension.
Yeah, I think I think that was the appeal at this point. Like at the minute, and the problem is, I think that right there, that happening was the opposite effect of what Jericho wanted and what Cena wanted and what Vince wanted. The minute he came out with that, the fans immediately turned against Cena, and they wanted him to win that belt.
Yeah.
I think that more than anything is the biggest. I think that's what caused a lot of the fucking hatred to start, and I don't think a lot of people are being honest with themselves when it comes to this, because had it not been for Jericho leaking that information out that he signed a month extension, this wouldn't have been a thing.
Not
what
a month extension, just an extension.
Well, right, whatever, however long it was. So, like, the fact that he did and he leaked it, that was the issue. I think if he never did that, this wouldn't have been a fucking problem.
I think, too, though, it was also... I think it was that. I think it was also, too... There's a lot of things that Cena was associated with that, he was exposed to the win a little bit just because, like, he had to... it was clearly clear that he wasn't the wrestler that he would become in, 2015 and all that type of stuff, even before then and all that type of stuff. Also, he was associated with changing the design of the WWE Championship, and a lot of people didn't like that. And he was also slowly breaking away from the Thugonomics gimmick, and I think a lot of people didn't like that. He was more like the Chain Gang type John Cena, and I think people still liked that gimmick, but it wasn't Thugonomics. And again, he couldn't do Thugonomics forever. That wasn't realistic. He couldn't do that gimmick forever because that would have even gotten stale. But I don't think people were ready for the Thugonomics gimmick to really be done yet. I think
no,
because slowly, as you can see on this show, you even see it in the video package. John Cena slowly is out of the Thugonomics deal. You see it in this video package type of thing when they show it on this show.
Right. They're trying to make him more appealing to people that think he's just a thug and only a thug. And they want families to start like tuning in. Yeah, it was obvious what they were doing. They were trying to make him the Hulk Hogan even then. So yeah, I mean there was a lot. I think it would have still gotten a mixed reaction. My personal opinion. But again, I maintain that if Jericho didn't leak it, there's no way that the crowd would have been as vitriolic towards Cena as they were.
I think we've talked about this before too. Like we talked about this in the New Year's Revolution 06 retro. What would have happened, by the way, if Batista was in this spot that Cena was in? Would the fans have turned on Batista as much as... Because Batista, no one turned on him.
No one turned on him. They started turning on him when he was fighting Taker, and then he won them over in that feud with Taker. So, like, that was even done. Like, there's very few people that hate Dave. At least, I mean, I know one guy that hates Dave for the shit he did, for obvious reasons, to be fair. But besides that, like, people did not hate Batista for the direction he was going in because they had him fight the right opponents to... The problem with... This is the problem, right? let's just break it down. They protected Batista in his weaknesses. They did not protect Cena in his.
Yeah.
That was the problem. If they had taken the same approach with Cena as they did Batista, then this wouldn't have happened. I think.
Yeah.
And that's the problem. Like, when Batista was on SmackDown, he was the man. Even the minute he showed up there, he was the guy. He was the face of SmackDown almost instantly. And they made him go up against credible opponents that could either have a good brawl with him, like JBL, for example, or Eddie Guerrero, who's a great technical wrestler, having a fucking killer match with anybody, or... have a good match, have a good little side story with Ray, getting the tag titles with Eminem, all that shit, or against Eminem with Ray. He even had decent matches with Khali, after working for so long with those guys. So they usually saved him for his strengths, and not all the matches were 5-star belters or anything. And I know a lot of people groan that he doesn't have one, especially in this fucking goddamn no virgin ass community. I know, pot calling to get a black, but still.
Yeah.
But they still protected him, and the fans, the casuals, were still into Batista. Whereas by that point, everyone, including most of the casuals, were getting sick of the Cena, unless you were a kid or a female. That was the problem. Everybody thought Batista was cool. And I think John even said it. John Tuddy said it many times. It's like, they protected him. They protected Dave big time.
Oh, they did, yeah.
So
If you notice too, he doesn't cut long his promos are never long either. It's just very,
and the funny thing is, when the promos are somewhat long, he knows how to please the crowd. He mentions the town. He has sunglasses on as he's talking. He looks like $1,000,000. He's nervous about it, but he's like, I'm happy, man. I'm happy to be here. All this shit. Like, he's pandering to the audience, but then he moves and morphs into, I'm going to kick the shit out of somebody. And then it's like, oh, he can. Oh, he can.
I feel like too, his feuds were complicated. Like,
no.
The feud he has with Taker in 2007, that's not even a big feud, by the way. That's not even a complicated storyline. Like,
it is the most simple goddamn story ever. I want to beat you. Well, you're going to have to damn near kill me, and I'm a dead man. That's it. That's the fucking story. It was the most simplest story ever.
And I think it won Feud of the Year in the Wrestling Observer and everything like that. Like, that's insane.
Yeah. WWE feud in 07. What the fuck?
Yeah. But anyhow, going through this match, this match is still really good. Jericho and Cena start chain wrestling each other. Jericho's out wrestling Cena throughout much of it. He takes him down with a clothesline. Eventually, Cena pushes Jericho off of the top turnbuckle. He falls onto the floor, and he takes like a fall too. Like, he falls forward. Like, he jumps. I think he's like on the turnbuckle near the English commentary table. I think where the Raw commentary team is, and he falls almost to like the Spanish of the commentary table. Like, he's taking a fall from here. No, that's not even the fall he is. He misses the drop kick. That makes more sense. I'm like, yeah, that doesn't really make sense.
I was like, what are you talking about?
He misses the Jericho drop kick, and then Cena tackles him to the ground. He beats up Jericho. Jericho takes over some more. He hits a really good bulldog on Cena. He hits the Jericho like drop kick. He hits a suplex, sending Cena into the ropes. Cena hits some good clotheslines. He hits a fisherman suplex that he doesn't hook the leg for. Early Cena never hooked the leg when it came to those fisherman suplex.
Yeah, he always released the leg. To be fair, I mean, that's smart because that's like you already got the leverage. Just drop his ass.
I know, but it was clearly meant to be a fisherman suplex.
Yeah, I don't think he realized like, oh no, I'm doing this bad. I'm doing it, fucky. No.
Jericho hits a really good clothesline.
No, you know what it is? It's the failed fisherman suplex because you know how fisherman fails to catch a fish. That's what that is. It's a failed.
There it is. There you go.
Hey, gang.
Jericho locks Cena into the walls. This is where you notice like Cena still, I don't think understands how to sell. Like his facial expressions are really bad right here. So bad.
Pretty bad. Like literally, this is his facial reaction.
Yeah.
It's like he's like eating something. It's like he ate like a Sour Patch Kid. Like, he's just like, oh, there's the sour. There's the sour.
Yep. Also,
so fucked.
He never fixed this. You can see Cena. You can hear and see Cena calling spots in the ring too. Like
Cena always loudly clothesline. Drop kick, please. Drop kick me.
My favorite thing is if someone would lock him in a submission move that would be like across his face, and he has his face to hug him. You would see Cena clearly talking to like into the camera sometimes. Like it'd be rough
all the time, bro. Like you don't notice it when you're a kid, but holy shit, like
Cena was the worst of it. Yeah,
he just talks. He's like, I wonder what he's saying, and then you look, and then you're as an adult. He's like, He's calling spots very loudly.
I wonder if he doesn't do it in his movies. If he's just calling stuff he's supposed to do in movies.
Every stunt where he does a leap and fast. Crash test jump! Here I come! I'm about to climb. I'm about to open the door now, and then fucking. Meanwhile, you got what's his face? That's on Fast and Furious. What's his name? I forget his name.
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel. Yeah, Vin Diesel just goes, "What? Why are you calling the spot? Just don't worry about it."
But yeah, John Cena. John Cena does a really good clothesline. He hits the protoplex on Jericho. Jericho kicks out of it. He doesn't have the 5 moves of doom yet, by the way. I think he does do them, but he doesn't have it like timed down and all that type of stuff. He goes for, I don't even know if they called it this at the time, but the 5-knuckle shuffle. I don't think they called it this
they called it 5-knuckle shuffle. Yeah.
But Jericho counters into the walls. He hits the lion salt, and he kicks out of it. That's obviously a big deal because that was Jericho's finisher back then. So it's so weird
it was a finisher of his back then, which was wild to think about. Yeah.
Yeah, and then eventually Cena from out of nowhere when Jericho's bouncing off the ropes hits Jericho with the FU and beats Jericho. Really good stuff here, though. I think Jericho got a really good match out of Cena here. He's really the ring general here, and I think this is like 3.5 stars. I thought this is really good stuff.
3.5 stars. Great match for the title. I will say, the only thing that would have made it a 4 for me is if somehow Cena would have catched Jericho out of the lion salt into the AA. That would have been nuts.
Yeah, I want to see.
I don't think he was capable of doing a complicated spot like that in any way. So that's probably why they didn't risk it. But that would have been the best. That would have been the finish I came up with, to be fucking honest.
I feel like too the match kind of ended short too. Like it kind of ended randomly. Like it didn't really build to a finish and all that type of stuff. Like it just kind of randomly ended type of thing.
You know what I always wondered, and here's a good question for you. You know how D'Angelo Dinero did basically a reverse attitude adjustment?
Yeah.
Why was that never a variation for Cena? Like,
yeah, that's a
why
good question,
didn't he put like 2 and 2 together and be like, why don't I do this reverse style? Like, I don't know, just random thoughts with James here.
Yeah, I would like that. Yeah. And then we have the semi-main event. It's the no-holds-barred match for the World Heavyweight Championship. It's Batista defending against JBL. So we talked about this. This was, not meant to happen. I think we've talked about this before, so I'm going to keep it brief because we may mention it in a future retro where, like, it's more prominent. This was meant to be Muhammad Hassan. Muhammad Hassan, obviously, was the Iranian. He was the Iranian sympathizer. But obviously that segment happened on SmackDown where he comes out and attacks Taker with those masked men. They ended up it was the same day as the London bombings, so they had to pull Muhammad Hassan from television.
And the thing, dude, I actually, you know what? It all makes sense now because it's in DC also.
Yep.
And it's in Batista's hometown.
Yeah.
God damn, that could have been heat. If Muhammad won the title from Dave on that show, or even comes close to winning, but then Batista wins, either way, the crowd would have been majorly up.
The one thing I don't think would have happened is everyone says he was meant to beat Taker clean at the Great American Bash. I don't think he would have beaten Taker clean. I think one would have interfered, and then Muhammad Hassan.
Absolutely, that would have been the case. Yeah, absolutely.
Everybody says he would have beaten him clean. There's no way. I don't think he would have beat Taker clean. I don't think he would have beaten Taker clean.
Here. You know, you did trivia, so let's see if you can get this trivia. Who was the lawyer that came out and spoke on Muhammad Hassan's behalf?
Tomato Champs. Tomato Champs. It was Tomato Champs.
I actually did not expect you to fucking go Tomato Champs.
That's technically wrong and technically right all at the same time too. So
for those who think he's wrong, no, he's right. It's Tommaso Ciampa. It's just the nickname that fucking Otis gave him back in NXT.
I didn't do the Otis impression because you know me, I can't do impressions.
Tomato Champs. There you go.
But so they had to pivot because Muhammad Hassan had to be taken off TV abruptly. You know what the funny thing is, by the way? I know because it was the times and everything like that. You realize they did the same mask attire, and I think it was SVR 2009, and they have the mask man. It's the same guys dressed that way too. It's really funny. I guess because it's a video game, they can't get in much trouble for it. I guess I don't know. That's probably a Mike.
Oh my god, that's actually I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, it's all the mask guys. It's Randy Orton and Mr. Kennedy all rolled up into one, fighting them in 2000 from SmackDown vs. Raw 2009.
Yeah. If I had to guess how they would have done the Orton interference, I feel like Orton was going to be in one of those mask guys. He probably would have attacked Taker and cost him the match that way. Did you hear me, or do I need to repeat it?
You need to repeat it because my headphones came out.
I think Randy Orton probably was going to be one of the mask guys, like, and that's how he would have interfered across the sake of the mask. That's probably how it would have happened.
Yeah, probably. Actually, no, it kind of makes sense.
But yeah, they had to pivot. They had to
Yeah, you
change.
think?
Why
was he using terrorist bullshit? Like, that's the thing. He was sympathizing. You were supposed to sympathize with them. He wasn't.
Yeah. Again, you can't fault WWE too much because it just happened.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I can. They absolutely went completely against the whole purpose of the gimmick that he's not a terrorist and people assume he is. And then they just made him a terrorist. Yes, I absolutely can fucking blame WWE for that. That's totally on them.
I know.
What the fuck?
It's just, of course, when it backfired, they chose to fucking jump the shark on the worst possible day that happened. Well, sort of, I guess, but you know.
Why not just erase the segment and film a new one for next week? You know what I mean? Like, just do
leaked
that.
out to the internet. It would have leaked out to the dirt sheets.
Yes, but it would. But that's the thing. It still wasn't as prevalent at that point. And if WWE, at the very least, erased the segment and just completely cut it from the broadcast and aired some bullshit besides that. Like, I don't know. Like, you could have done a segment in a graveyard with Muhammad Hassan and Taker or some shit. I don't know.
Yeah,
definitely. If they'd have done that, at least there would have been an effort by WWE like, hey, we ain't trying to be insensitive. We apologize. This was just really bad timing. And then people would have understood. They deliberately did this because Vince knew, well, this might get us traction.
Oh, boy, it did,
it got the traction all right, and then you had to fucking double back and absolutely remove the character, and poor Mark Capani's now had to fucking be a high school principal for a shitty high school. I'm kidding. He probably likes his job, but still...
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. You got blackballed for the business pretty much because
of what Vince did. Yeah, you fucked up, dude. Fuck you. Yeah. Like you could have easily just replaced the segment. You had time. You had 24 hours. You cunt.
Yeah.
You had 48 hours. Not even. You had 48 hours to replace the segment. You're telling me you couldn't have come up with something in a fucking... It's not like you hadn't done a goddamn skit in a graveyard before. I don't know. It's just so dumb. It didn't need to happen.
They've cut segments before. Back in '99, they cut the segment where Droz breaks his neck.
Yes! Yes, you've cut a whole match before and refilmed shit just so that way it wouldn't air on the show. You could have done the same thing for Muhammad, who you were positioning as a top guy in the company.
Yeah.
And instead you leave it in because you didn't want to have any inconvenience or give an iota of a fuck to change it. And then it backfired and then you punish him for it.
Well, he didn't get punished. He's the one that ended up getting punished for it, though, so...
Yeah, well, still, it's like, fuck. Like...
Yeah.
And I guarantee you, they did. And look, I'm not saying the WWE didn't try to put up a fight necessarily for the segment or something after the fact and keep them on TV. But like, clearly they didn't try hard enough.
Yeah.
Like, and
how would you try to keep?
You know,
how would you have tried to keep him on TV if you got in this position that you know,
if it happened and I had no choice and the segment already happened,
yeah,
I would have just left him off for a while and then have him come back. I'd have him interfere in this match. I would have had him interfere in this match because I think enough time would have passed, and I would have issued a statement right away, where fucking you know, we had a blatant apology on WWE.com. That's what I would have done.
Yeah, that would have been nice.
Because it's like, we completely misjudged the character because he was supposed to be an Iraqi sympathizer, and instead we went the complete wrong angle with it and actually just full-on had him as a terrorist. We greatly apologize for what we did. We will go and stick true to what made the character get so much bad heat in the first place. or what gave him so much good heat in the first place from the crowd, and that's make him an Iraqi sympathizer that isn't actually a terrorist.
Yeah,
That's
probably,
that's what I would have done. There was a way you could have done it. Vince just didn't want the fucking headache and just didn't give a fuck.
yeah.
That's what it comes down to. He didn't give a fuck because it didn't matter to his bottom line. That's what it is. If this was in '95 and that happened, it's fuck. If this was during the fucking slaughter bullshit and Muhammad was in that position, oh man, you bet your ass they would have fought their ass off tooth and nail to keep that gimmick alive.
Oh yeah, they definitely would.
Because they couldn't afford it. They needed all the fucking publicity they can get, to be fair to them. 2005, they can give a fuck. They made their money. They were making money hand over fist. They didn't care.
Yeah, for sure.
So
I feel like, too, because Vince didn't want to play ball, too, with what the networks wanted type of thing. He wanted to make him a terrorist, I think, and, like, he got mad that he couldn't get his way type of thing, too. Like...
Yeah, I mean, that just comes down to Vince McMahon being racist. I mean, he saw Mark Capani, Italian? No, you're Arabian Nights, damn it. And then turn him into a fucking Arab, and then, or, I'm sorry, Iraqi sympathizer, right? And then he fucking wanted him to be a terrorist because Vince McMahon is one-dimensional brain.
Yeah.
It's just fuck me, dude. Like, I can't... it's so stupid! Sorry.
Yeah, really. Going through the what they had to replace it with, so...
Yeah,
Batista got drafted.
JBL.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Batista got drafted to SmackDown. JBL, they originally lost the WWE Championship because Cena was drafted, and they were going to make a new SmackDown Championship. And JBL apparently won the championship, but Teddy Long was just like, it's such a Teddy Long thing to do to JBL. I love that he does this. He was just like, yeah, we don't need, I was just kidding. We don't actually, I just realized we don't need a championship anymore. And he just brings out Batista. I like to think
everybody was like, what was in the bag still to this day? And I said, nothing. It was probably some toy belt, bro. Like, everybody still reads into that. Like, did they have an intention to bring in a new championship to SmackDown?
Yeah.
And I keep having to say, no, he did it to fuck with Bradshaw, you fucking marks.
I like the, I always like to think, too, knowing how Teddy Long is in real life, he probably saw how much money he was going to have to spend to make a new championship, and he was just like, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to draft Batista to SmackDown. That's much cheaper. That's much easier.
Yeah, he pulled the APA, just became a cheapskate. Like, I want pay money for a new championship. I'm just going to draft Batista. It's cost effective.
And I'm going to make more money drafting Batista. So.
He did, to be fair. He made a shitload on merch, if you go by kayfabe. I mean, if that was his income, he made boo-goo bucks, bro. So, I mean...
yeah, he did, yeah.
Fuck. Teddy Long, greatest babyface manager in WWE history. I'm just saying.
William Regal would like to speak to you, so...
but the problem is, Regal's good at everything. He's the best well-rounded manager ever.
Yeah.
Commissioner era and NXT era, basically.
Yeah.
And Raw era, when he was general manager for Raw for a bit.
Yeah. But then, Batista...
Thumbs up.
Batista, they had a match at the Great American Bash, and Batista got DQ'd because they had to rewrite the storyline. And they were going to have a rematch at SummerSlam, and Batista let JBL pick the stipulation, and he picked a no-holds-barred match, which I thought made sense. It's a very good street fight type of match. And realistically,
I was happy with that because I was like, God damn, those are the best matches JBL can have.
Yeah. Realistically, though, they probably should have done the Bolo match they did on SmackDown here and given the no-holds-barred stip, obviously, to Edge and Matt Hardy, but, that's wishful thinking.
I mean, yeah, but then again, you know what? Actually, no, I would have gone I Quit. I know they just done one earlier in the year, but they could have gotten away with doing an I Quit with Edge and Matt.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so yeah, keep it no holds barred, that's fine.
And yeah, we have the match. Batista was always doing his entrance. JBL attacks him before the match starts, and I like it because Batista's pyro was still going off, so it was like that was pretty dangerous right there. And they brawl around, the stage and all that type of stuff. Batista throws JBL into an equipment case. He hits JBL in the back with the fireworks extinguisher. One thing I like that the commentary says is the commentary was mentioning that this match favors JBL. I know JBL has more experience in the match, but it's also fucking Batista, man. It's not like the fucking guy like. I don't get that. I didn't really get that. Like, plus this was right after he has the Hell in a Cell match with Triple H.
Yeah, it's like, what are you talking about? He can hold his own, guys. He's good. He can hold his own.
Yeah. Batista and JBL fight in the crowd. JBL throws Batista into an equipment box that they just had ringside for some reason. I don't know why. Or in the crowd for some reason. I don't get why he was doing that. I don't know. And then JBL and Batista continue fighting. Batista spears JBL right through the barricade, which was absolutely awesome.
Yeah, what a spot. The crowd popped huge for it, too, by the way. The crowd was so into that. They loved that spot. Especially their hometown boy getting a spot like that. I'm sure they were fucking going nuts.
Yeah. Then Batista hits a clothesline on JBL in the ring. Then eventually JBL thumbs Batista in the eye. He hits a really good neck breaker onto Batista. He hits a really good short arm clothesline onto him. And then he takes off a guy's belt ringside. It was like one of the technicians or something. And he just whips Batista with it. He chokes him with the belt. I'll admit, this probably lasted a bit too long. They should have cut that part down by about...
Every JBL fucking rest spot lasts way too long.
Yeah, it does.
I swear, like, it's because JBL, and this was a case with all of his fucking matches, even the hardcore ones, was like... He's the only time it wasn't was Cena, because Cena was able to be the general of a brawl. Even then, fucking there was really no general here, and Hunter carried Batista to the Hell in a Cell match. We can easily admit that. So this guy is this guy plus Batista is like we're moving like at 15 miles per hour on the freeway, like type shit. Like, it was like, what are we doing here, pal? What are we doing, boss? And then Batista's like, what, did we do a turnbuckle spot yet? I don't think so. We could do that. That's too early in the match, though. Shit. Table? Too early.
They don't even do a table spot.
Choke me with the belt, and then we'll figure it out.
Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was, man. They were trying to figure it out as they went along, so they had the heat spot go crazy long. Fuck.
Then eventually Batista fights out of it. He does a pretty good comeback. He hits a really good power slam onto JBL. JBL hits a low blow on Batista, and he hits him with a clothesline from hell, but Batista kicks out of it. He grabs the steps. He's about to do some type of power driver or something on the steps. We're not exactly sure what it was going to be, but I like to think it was a power driver because that's what it looked like was being set up. But,
Pale driver.
Batista counters into a backdrop, and Batista and JBL like falls off of the steps and lands onto the floor. Like he got some height on that.
Yeah, like he fucking hopped for this. Like he fucking got. I think this is where his back injury started, right? That made him retire the first time. I think this was where it really was aggravated. I remember him talking about this vividly somewhere. I just don't remember where.
And then Batista hits a spine buster. He hits one Batista bomb, and then he's not done. He hits another Batista bomb onto the steps. Batista covers him and gets the win. I liked this. This was good stuff. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it was a good brawl.
Yeah.
I just wish they used the step a little more. I feel like they just used like the belt and like the steps. I wish they used the step.
3 stars for me as well. It was good. I rate the Rey Mysterio and Orton Taker matches very high because they were the best matches on the show in my opinion. But like that doesn't mean the championship matches were bad either. Like they actually did very well. Not everything, even the main events, they don't have to be bangers all the time.
No.
You know, they need to be good though, and you need to make sure they're always good. And the problem with the E is that not everything had a like. It's weird because some of the guys were protected, like Batista. Some of the guys weren't, like Cena. You know, some of the guys had great programs, like Edge and Matt, and then they dropped the ball with that. Yeah. Eddie and Ray had what should have been a dog shit program, and they turned it into gold with only one bot spot. Like,
Yeah.
and then you have the main event. Like,
Yeah. Let me talk about this.
Like,
So
what should have been a classic turned out to be a complete. It was a classic, all right. It was a classic pile of shit.
Let's talk about it. We have the Legend versus Icon match. Legend Hulk Hogan versus Icon Shawn Michaels. I think that's what the roles they were supposed to have. Let's get to the kayfabe reason why this happened. Break down the match and then mention what actually happened, because that's like the best way I think we can go about this.
Go for it.
So, Shawn Michaels, had come back. Shawn Michaels and Hulk Hogan pretty much were both part of the Hogan era. Shawn Michaels was on the rise during that time, and Hulk Hogan was obviously in the main events and all that type of stuff. And everyone wanted this dream match between Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels. They wanted what it would be like if they ever stepped in front of the ring. But just timing never really happened for it, because obviously once Shawn Michaels, when Hogan left the first time, and Shawn Michaels was still too new as a singles guy for the match to happen. Then Hogan went to WCW, and that's when Shawn Michaels was on the rise. And by the time Shawn Michaels, became like a main eventer, his back injury happened. And then when Hogan came back, he was on SmackDown, and Shawn Michaels was on Raw, so the timing never worked out. And finally the timing was right, because Hulk Hogan got inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2005, and he had another nostalgia one, and this time it was a good nostalgia one type of thing.
They do it to pop Cena. Like, the debut of Hogan or the reintroduction of Hogan on Raw was Shawn Michaels just nonchalantly talking about this guy like nothing, right? And then he says the immortal Hulk Hogan, and then John Cena gets on his knees like, wait a fucking minute, what?
Yeah.
Like, because he had no idea that it was Hogan. And he had a 6-man tag with Hogan. And so I think they literally did it just to fucking pop Cena. I still maintain that to the day. They just wanted to pop Cena and rib him.
Yeah. But Hogan and Michaels had some type of friendship. They had some type of tag team going on at this time. And it all went off the rails.
Because Shawn Michaels is still, in kayfabe, a scumbag.
Yeah.
So
He super kicks Hulk Hogan. I mean, he doesn't like tag teams, as you know. He has to break up every tag
Yes,
team.
he does. Yes, he does. Wait. Yes, he does. He really doesn't like tag teams. It's almost like he can't get over Marty Jannetty being a druggie that he made him. It's almost like he can't stand tag team wrestling because of the bullshit. It's almost like him and Hunter never won the tag team titles until they fucking did it in 2010. It's almost like it's just never worked out. And now he's punishing everyone else for his transgressions. Yep. Okay, red over. I'll put my mic down. I'll put my mic down.
So then, Shawn Michaels says that he did it was because Hulk Hogan is nothing more than a nostalgia act. He just lives off his nostalgia.
Dude, some of these segments were fucking insane. By the way.
Shawn Michaels was really great as a heel here. Like, honestly, we'll talk about it. If things had gone right, this could have been the best heel one he ever had in his career. Like, the segment that he has where he they do the Larry King spoof where he shows up as old man Hulk Hogan.
It's so fucking wild.
And then
he just
obviously the Montreal segment when he goes to Montreal as a heel for the first time. That's a classic segment. Just Shawn Michaels was really great as a heel here, just kind of great promos. Hulk Hogan was upset because, like, instead of taking the gracious route, Shawn Michaels could have just asked him for a match. He decided to take the cheap shot route, and he said that he's going to beat up Shawn Michaels for all of his fans out there.
For all of his Hulkamaniacs, dude.
Yeah. And, Hulk Hogan was really great in this feud also, too. It's just he wasn't there all that much because of I think he was a part-timer by this point, so... But he was still cutting great promos, but Shawn Michaels was really the one carrying this feud. And then let's talk about the match. Because I think that's the best way we can go about talking about...
Wait, did we mention Who's Your Daddy, Montreal?
I did mention that he cut that classic...
Who's Your Daddy, Montreal?
Yeah, so Shawn Michaels was really great as a heel here. Then we have the match. The entrances for the matches are really good. Shawn Michaels has a good entrance, and Hulk Hogan. JR is mentioning that they both never lost at singles match at SummerSlam, so I thought that was pretty cool. So it was kind of unpredictable who was going to win this. And yeah, then we have the match. They lock up.
Oh, hold on. Are we going to talk about the match and then why the match was the way it is? Is that how we're doing this?
That's how we. That's
Okay,
the best way to do this.
Continue.
I might let you talk about why it is the way it is, though. But
Okay.
yeah, Shawn Michaels. They lock up, and Hogan takes him down. Shawn oversells it a little bit, but not. It's not bad. It's not egregious yet. And then
no, man, that it was pretty egregious from the start.
It made more sense. Yeah.
He already starts tumbling. Like it gets even crazier. But yeah, like continue. Go ahead.
Then it gets really weird. He all he does is just a simple push to Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels does a complete backflip when this happens. He does a few right hands. Shawn Michaels easily falls to the floor. And then Hogan gets the advantage throughout the beginning portions of it. He hits a clothesline, sending Shawn Michaels out of the ring, and Shawn Michaels does a complete backflip all the way up to the stage.
He fucking and then he does a roll. He does like a forward roll.
Jonathan Coachman at this point mentions because Shawn Michaels gets frustrated here. Jonathan Coachman says on commentary, I think Shawn Michaels is trying to get all this energy out right now. Oh boy, was he ever good?
Oh boy, was he? Oh yeah, he was. He's getting all them frustrations out with this tumble routine.
Yeah, and then then they kind of lock up some more. Hogan. Shawn Michaels like on his stomach in the corner, and Hogan's kicking Michaels a couple times. He kind of oversells this a little bit. Then he gets crotched into the ropes, and I guess it's not an oversell because I guess this is how you would act if you got crotched. But Shawn still does oversell it a little bit. I would say.
Oh my God, does he ever? Because he bounces off it, and then like just falls like hard way in the ring.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't injure himself as he's overselling Hogan shit. Like, honestly.
Yeah.
He was really hamming it up, bro.
Hogan does like the clothesline again at one point, and Shawn Michaels, he does like two backflips, like gets to his feet and like falls like into the floor. It's like
Hogan was like trying to follow through at one point with one of his strikes, and he's seeing Shawn do it. He has to like stand back, like whoa, brother.
And then Hogan clotheslines Shawn again out of the ring, and he does another flip. And then
I can't believe he didn't do the inside out bump at one point, and then just fucking do another inside out bump just for the fun.
Yeah. And then there's another one. He's on the apron. Hogan just does a simple clothesline, not even an effective clothesline. He does a full-on like 360, like onto the floor.
Yeah, it's like the fucking axe bomber that Hogan always used to do, that he got from Luger, and he fucking goes,
and then he throws him into the barricade. Shawn Michaels really oversells this one, moving into the barricade.
Yeah.
And then he goes onto the announce table. Shawn Michaels, I guess that way you could say it's not an oversell because y'all going to the announce table at the end of the day, so that's not too bad, I guess. But still, it's an oversell.
It's somewhat, but like overselling isn't bad. But in this case, he was making Hulk Hogan look like the biggest shithouse ever.
Yeah. And then eventually Shawn Michaels sends Hogan shoulder first into the post twice. And then he starts working over the eye of Hogan. He's trying to bust him open. Eventually he succeeds, and he's just dominating Hogan. He gets him into a chin lock. Hogan fights out of it. He oversells this. He does like a full-on flip, and Hogan does a regular back suplex to get out of the fucking headlock. It's just like, what are you doing?
Every move almost he just oversells, bro. It's wild.
Michaels hits a neck breaker. He goes for the elbow drop, but Hogan gets his knees up, and then eventually the ref takes a bump. He evidently gets taken down by Shawn Michaels' clothesline, which I don't know what happened here. The ref mistimed it or something. He barely even gets hit, and like all of a sudden, like it was just odd. And then Shawn Michaels, thumbs Hogan in the eye. He hits a low blow onto him. He locks Hogan into the sharpshooter, and the fans don't like this, obviously. The ref comes out, and Hogan's able to get to the rope. Shawn gets pissed. He super kicks the referee, and then he hits another low blow on Hogan. And he grabs a chair. He hits Hogan off the head with the chair, hits an elbow drop, doesn't get the win. He hits the sweet chin music. Hogan really kicks out of it. He hulks up. Shawn Michaels doesn't understand what's going on here, obviously. He's actually even not really. This is like the one that he really doesn't sell all that much. Is the fact that he doesn't sell Hogan's Hulk up. Like he doesn't act like he's really scared of
No, which is he undersells that.
And then
like absurd, bro.
Hogan attacks Michaels. He hits a few right hands onto him. He hits a big boot, and Shawn Michaels he gets to his feet and then he falls off really.
He fucking does a full on rolling
back bump, back bump. And then Hogan hits the leg drop. He doesn't sell the leg drop though. That's the one thing he really doesn't sell at all, is the leg drop.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, Hogan celebrates with the crowd. Shawn Michaels gets into the ring. You think he's gonna super kick Hogan again, but he turns around. He offers for a handshake. And they do a handshake, but they don't look Shawn especially does not look happy to do this handshake. He does say to Hogan, "I just needed to know if I could hang with you," type of thing. And they kind of leave. And I think.
Yeah, I'm sure you did. Sure you wanted to hang yourself after this.
And then, you're thinking to yourself, they're gonna do something where Hogan invites him back into the ring to celebrate. Now that they're both babyface.
No,
I think nope. Shawn just leaves and Hogan just celebrates. So James,
flag in the background and shit. Or no, that was the entrance. I don't know. Admittedly, that was a cool Hogan entrance, by the way.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, James, we talk about. I'm gonna let you break this down because I think you've done extensive research on this. Why don't you go through why the match is the way that it is?
So, Hogan was signed back after a little bit of trepidation from Vince after the fiasco that was 2003 with the Mr. America shit. They brought him in for the Hall of Fame, made him the headliner of that class. He came back at WrestleMania 2021. Did that.
If you remember too, everyone in that Hall of Fame class was at least tied into Hulk Hogan.
It was the Hulkamania era class. It was the Rock and Wrestling class.
Yeah.
The thing that basically made pro wrestling / sports entertainment what it is today. So he does his thing. And he's got that nostalgia run, and he's doing pretty damn good so far. Anyway, he's not giving anybody any problems. And then Shawn and him are going to go into a program, and Hogan straight up says, "Gotta work with a heel, brother."
Yeah.
So Shawn, being the good sport he is trying to be, turns heel for Hulk. And the original plan for this was to have it be a 3-match series, where Shawn Michaels was ultimately going to win the feud by Survivor Series. And Hogan, with the stroke of a pen, said, and I quote, in writing, "That doesn't work for me, brother." That's it. He said he had a back injury and basically he kayfabed the shit out of Michaels with it, and then it turned into a 1-match thing. So Shawn said, "Okay, you cunt, I'm gonna fucking oversell everything that you have to offer me now. Since you want to do this, I'm gonna make a mockery of this match because I didn't want to be heel in the freaking first place. So screw you." Essentially, is what he told him. And at that point, Shawn hadn't done anything close to this since 98, 99. And the fact that he was doing it here, you could tell the ugly side of Shawn came back because he was bullshit.
Yeah.
So and honestly, still can't blame him for that because that is kind of shitty. You know what I mean? And not even just. I think in his mind, he had been. Vince has been loyal to him, and brought him back for a second run and all this shit. So the fact that Hogan's just kind of pissing all over him, I don't think it was just him, but I don't think it was entirely selfish, but I think he was pissed that Vince brings him back and he's fucking still doing the same bullshit and he hadn't changed a bit to save his life. And now he's fucking Michaels over in the process, and now we have a problem.
Yeah.
The difference is, though, Shawn Michaels will admit to you, you fuck with me, I'm going to look out for number one always, and if you fuck with me, I'm going to fuck with you back. He doesn't give a fuck if you fuck with any of his friends that much until it affects him. Then he has a fucking issue. So there is that. Yeah. But even so, like, he was justified in his frustration. Like, that was ridiculous. I mean, you could break it down as they both handled it like immature children, but it's still hella funny.
Yeah, I'll go through this kind of. I kind of do agree with Shawn Michaels here, just because Shawn Michaels too was, as you seen, was going to be around a lot longer too. Like, Hogan really didn't need the win here, anyways. I feel like too, Hogan always has this tendency not to see like he can make more money. Like, he could have made a lot more money with this program if he let the match go like the 3-match feud like it should have gone. I have heard like Hogan has mentioned in interviews before like what his side of the story was. Like, apparently he nixed the feud after Shawn Michaels came out and made a mockery of the whole thing the next night on Raw, just turned back babyface. But I think that's kind of bullshit, just because that wouldn't even make sense considering that they both end up.
Shawn Michaels ain't gonna do something unless you cross him. I'm sorry. Even at his worst state, he ain't gonna fuck with you that bad unless you really, really fucking did something bad. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, he didn't even want to do the thing with Brett in Montreal.
Yeah.
Like, and that was when he was at the worst point of his life and career. So, like, I highly doubt that.
I feel like, too, I don't get why Hogan wanted to feel like he had to work with a heel. Like, I feel like Hogan just thinks, too, you have to be a heel to work with him. Like, some of the best work that people have done is when they've both been babyface. I mean, Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker's classic.
How about Warrior and Hogan? WrestleMania 6? Hello?
Yeah.
I don't know. Macho Man and SummerSlam. Macho Man and Warrior, this 92 SummerSlam. Hello.
Yeah. Hey. Shawn Michaels and the Undertaker.
Even though it was supposed to be heel versus face, I don't know. You versus Rocky. Hello.
Yeah.
Fuck. I don't.
So like, yeah, I don't really. I really didn't get that. I feel like Hulk Hogan fucked up here. He really had. He had a chance to.
He fucking worked with Triple H when he was in the height of his babyface run to win the title back.
Yeah, he did.
Fuck! Why couldn't you have worked with Shawn Michaels as a babyface?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't really blame Shawn Michaels here. Shawn Michaels probably did handle this fairly childishly also. But you really can't blame him.
I mean, I do care to a degree because maybe you shouldn't have, but at the same time, I mean, it's fucking funny.
But I do have to say this. I've been thinking about this. I feel like it's very fitting with these two guys that there was backstage politics involved. You know there was always going to be. Of course
there was going to be backstage politics with these two egos? Oh, my God.
Yeah. I think, too, Shawn Michaels was... What's so funny about this? He got out-politicked, and he was so pissed about it that he's like, you want to out-politic me, buddy? I'm going to make you look like a fucking fool in this match. That's exactly what it was, too.
Yeah, like, and boy, did he ever... God, he made a mockery of Hulk.
And
as
I feel like, too...
Have, by the way, I'm sorry. By the way, happy 70th birthday, Hogan.
So this covers the Hogan 70th birthday match, too.
There you go. Yeah, that's happy birthday, bud. Yeah, I mean... You know, just don't be an absolute dick. You know?
I feel like, too, there's one thing we were ignoring, by the way. Hogan kind of took Shawn Michaels could have had the best heel run of his career if it wasn't for fucking Hulk Hogan, by the way.
Oh, my God, yeah.
Like, he probably would have, who knows, he probably would have stayed here going up to Mania. The Mania 22 match probably would have been Cena versus Michaels with Michaels as a heel. That would have been money. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, as I said, and we'll get to the match rating in a minute, but you had... As I said, you had great booking of Batista, but not so great booking of Cena. You had a great feud of Cena. You had a great feud of Matt and Edge and Matt Hardy that ended up being shit because of the way they ended this match. You had a feud that should have been dog shit, but ended up being great, and they still botched the finish.
Yeah, and you had a feud
this feud.
One more thing. You had a feud that didn't really start yet, but had a great match out of it and kicked off a great feud for the rest of the year with Undertaker and Randy Orton.
Randy Orton, yes. And then you had a match that you had probably the highest of expectations for, which is why this pay-per-view got so many buys, with Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels, you thinking and expecting this to be an instant classic, and it is anything but. It is a classic train wreck. Like, this is the best and worst of the Attitude Era. This is the epitome of the... I'm sorry, I always say Attitude Era, but this is the best and worst of the Ruthless Aggression Era right on this show. Literally right here. This is it. Like, this is why I wanted to do it so bad, because it's like, it's such a train wreck that you have to watch it from start to end.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
let's do a star ratings. Should I say mine first, and then you say yours?
Go right ahead. You start with a star rating, buddy. Good stuff.
Just because of the lulls and how classic it was and how funny this is, I give it 3.5 stars.
I give it 3.5 stars too. This is the best fucking oversell I've ever seen.
I will say though, the match does work when Shawn is on offense too. When Shawn's on offense, it actually kind of woos a little bit.
Oh yeah. No, Shawn is the best worker out of this for sure. The funny thing is, he's making a mockery out of Hogan, and he's still carrying it to a great match. Like, he is. Shawn Michaels is goated. Like, he is. You can't deny his in-ring prowess, dude. You can't. So it's like, if he could do that, man, like, you didn't have a chance. Hogan didn't have a fucking chance against ever working with this guy again. But
you know, Hogan ruined his third one, by the way. With this match, if you think about it, because this is the last you see of Hogan in the WWE until 2006, the next year. So, you know, there's that. So
yeah. And you know what? You reap what you sow. Happy 70th. Sorry, I already gave my praises on open mic night, which is ironic that we're doing this show right after this, by the way. Although this would have been 2 weeks out from that. But yeah, we did like a couple open mic nights ago by this point. We did a 70th birthday of Hogan. So it's like, I gave my praises to Hogan there, but like, he deserves his fair share of shit too.
I was thinking, by the way, you know, it's Hogan's 70th birthday. We don't have time, though. I wanted to do a retro, you know, for Hogan's 70th birthday. I didn't even realize this is the retro for it. This is the fucking retro for Hogan's 70th birthday.
We did it!
So we made somehow SummerSlam 05, like, still acceptable to do, even though it's after SummerSlam. We got Edge, we're having a celebration of Edge. Edge is it's a decently big factor.
It's Edge and Hogan. Hey, they were former WWF Tag Team Champions too. It all ties in.
Yeah, so there you go. Like,
before we close this off, because I'm just curious with this real quick. Did you know about? Do you know about Josh Mansfield? Right.
Yeah, I know about
him. Did you know?
I think he was on open.
He was on open mic night. Did you know that he wrote an article on No DQ? Saying Hulk Hogan did nothing for wrestling. It's an opinion article, by the way.
Okay.
Disagree,
right? I get you can have opinions, but that's not even an opinion. Like, the industry is not what it is today without Hulk Hogan. Like,
yeah, exactly. I mean, simply put. All right, good. I just wanted to put that out there. Again, he's got enough shit for it, but like, I think Hogan said something ridiculous or something recently about a certain wrestler. I don't know. It might have been against Zayn or something. It was somebody. Somebody got like a comment from Hogan or whatever, and like he just didn't get it or something. And then just Josh hated every second of whatever he said, and then out of pure rage and anger, just wrote an opinion piece of Hulk Hogan did nothing for wrestling, even though he did. Which is like, I get being angry at something, but don't say shit that's untrue either.
Like, I don't like, I think, you know, I'm not the biggest Kevin Nash fan, but, you know, I realize without Kevin Nash, the NWO isn't what it is today, so it's like, you know.
You know what the funny thing is, too? I feel like Nash does get a bad rep, because I think if you give him a reason to give a shit, he'll actually give a shit. But if you kind of fuck creatively with him, he's just gonna take the money and run. Because
Yeah.
what's the point in fighting it? Like, he's the first of a lot of people that did that in the WWE, by the way, and elsewhere in different companies. TNA 2010, for example.
Yeah. Well, let's go through the letter grade of this show. But we should say there are before we do the letter grade. Mike finished the thumbnail. I want to send you
No
what
way.
it is. So you can get,
Is that what he was calling me for?
Yeah.
Hold on. I'll
Oh wait, I sent it to him by accident. Hold on.
Okay, hold on. I'm surprised. I'm surprised you got it done that quick. Hold on.
I tried to unsend it, but I'm just right. Sorry, I meant to send this to James.
Call Mike. Meh.
I was just about to say too. Luckily, Mike's not on this podcast. If you would have told Hogan a new asshole here, but
I mean, he could tear. You want him to tear him a new asshole, you can. But I think I think Shawn Michaels did it before any of us could.
Yeah. So
all right, here we go.
I'm
gonna call him. It's time. It's time.
You might be going to bed though.
Please leave your message for...
Oh, maybe. I don't know. He did call me. Oh, he called me on Facebook, so that explains it. Okay. Oh, yeah. He made it like a Shawn Michaels' head is in the fucking tumbleweed.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That's awesome. Oh, my God. He nailed this. Holy shit! Wait a minute. Hold on. We gotta give him his props on the air real quick. I don't care. He gonna get smothered with compliments on the air here. All right, I'm calling him now. Here we go. Actually, you know what? I'll pause it until we can get a hold of him. Oh, here we go.
Not be able to though.
Hey yo. Okay, you're on the air. That thumbnail is baller.
It's awesome, yeah.
I think you enjoy it.
That was fucking funny. The Shawn Michaels head in the tumbleweed was better than anything I had planned. That was tremendous.
Well, because I couldn't get a good shot of him flipping and dipping through the air, so I said, fuck it, I'm just going to put his head on the tumbleweed. I think it's funny.
Yeah, you were right. You were right. That was such a freaking out of nowhere thing. So, yeah, there would have been a good shot. I just don't know how crisp it would have looked because there's a shot in SummerSlam 05 where Hogan clotheslines him out of the ring, and then he just does a front flip on the outside after he goes out to the outside. That would have been the thing that I went with, but yours just came out way funnier.
I tried finding that shot. I couldn't find it anywhere.
Yeah, that's fair. Do you want to say anything for the people on the retro? Because I have you on the air right now.
About the.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
No, you have nothing. Not even for Hogan on his 70th birthday. Come on, bro.
What?
Not even Hogan for his 70th birthday. Come on, bro. You don't want to tear him a new asshole.
He's a cunt. I don't know what else you want.
That's perfect. All right. You have a good rest of your night.
It's morning now.
Yeah, have a good rest of your night. What's wrong? Bye-bye! Alright, he's gone. Alright, that's the end of it. That's the end of our show. Yay!
Well, we gotta do the letter grade first.
Have we not done that?
No, this is kind of a weird. This is a weird show. I'm gonna do mine first, and then I'll let you do yours. I'm giving this show like a B. I think this is actually like a really good show still, even though it's got the best and worst of the Ruthless Aggression era.
I give it a B too. I give it a B too. It's weird because like it gets some of this shit is so bad it's good, and and then like there are stuff that's bad like the fucking Kurt Angle Eugene and the finish to Edge and Hardy, but then everything else is like,
yeah,
you know, again like matches are good. And then the Shawn Michaels Hogan thing's hilarious.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you really rate this anything lower than a B at least? Like it's funny. It's a good show.
It doesn't.
I was entertained. I was sports entertained.
It doesn't kill the industry. Like I think a reason why Bash at the Beach 2000 is bad is that killed the whole. That's basically what killed the whole company. So that's why.
I mean, no, like. The company was dead regardless if they were succeeding or not, by the way. Turner did not want WCW even in '98, especially when they merged with AOL.
That's
but didn't help. And it really,
But still-
really made the business like.
But still,
bad.
as you know, that has to be a retro someday. As bad as Bash at the Beach 2000 is and stuff. At least here, you have great matches on the show and storylines were furthered on this show too, like Undertaker, Orton.
You know what? You know what? That's what we're gonna do. That's what we're gonna do. Fuck it. I say we do it. I say why not? Because you know what? We already did SummerSlam 05. We're gonna do Heatwave 98. Let's do Bash at the Beach 2000. Let's get all the summer shows in one, along with the UK shows that we're gonna do. It gets seven retros out of the deal. We'll definitely break the record and shatter it at that point. Hell, we can do it after All Out for all I care, as long as we get it done. Because I think that would be the perfect time is after Labor Day, last summer show of summer. You know.
I think that's good because let's do it.
Let's do it. The impromptu decision making right here. You see a Bash at the Beach 2000. Oh boy, can't wait for this shit show.
I've always wanted to do a WCW show in 2000. I just didn't think it'd be that one. So
might as well. Fuck it. I'll see who else wants to be a part of that.
I like how I get shat on, by the way, for picking the bad shows like Raw Underground and Battleground 2013 and stuff. But here you are picking bad.
You know what? But you know what? Maybe that's fair. Like, if you take the approach of going with the shows that are so bad that you can laugh at them, that's fucking funny. Maybe it would be more bearable. So maybe that is on me. The problem is I can't laugh about Raw Underground because it's just so fresh to me still. Whereas like Bash at the Beach happened like what? Fuck. 23 years ago now?
Yeah.
So it's been a while. It's been a long time.
Yeah, there has been.
So.
But anyhow, that's the end of the show. We have to end this because I gotta take a huge piss. So So
all right. Sorry, my plugs are gonna probably make you wait at least 2 minutes longer, but not much to go with here. You guys can check me out on YouTube, youtube.com/user/JHEBERT on that channel, we got watch-along content. By the time you see this, we have watch-along content on the Jeff Meacham Network side for All Out and All In. But in between all that, FTW Watch Party returns. Both Fyter Fest, AEW, Dynamite, and Collision is a go. It's happening. Those are the go-home shows before All In London. It has been made official on the calendar. And then we will also be doing the AEW All Out go-home shows as well. So, going to be a big week for watch parties. Big couple weeks for watch parties. We decided to skip out on Rampage because there's really no point, especially with Collision being a better show. It's not like you can't find out what people thought of Rampage anywhere else, especially on AEW Spark here. So
there you go.
There's that. So yeah, we're gonna just skip out on Rampage this time, but we also may be doing watch parties for AEW All In and AEW All Out because I don't necessarily have to be on camera for those. So Casey's gonna be on camera for those more than likely. Kind of hosting the festivities, the shindigs, getting people in, just having a good time, watching some wrestling, while I do my call on commentary for AEW All In London with Jeff Meacham Network. So you'll be seeing it a day or two after the fact, and you'll be getting double coverage of AEW All In and All Out. So you're going to get a lot of content from my side of things. You're also going to be getting some... I think we're going to be doing a Wrestling with Idiocy of favorite AEW moments. I'm going to talk to Casey, see what happens there. That's tentative, though, so don't quote me. If you want to come on, Owen, you can. Absolutely, you're more than welcome to, because I know we meant to have you on ages ago. And we got Character Select coming up on my channel also. Character Select is going to be an AI fighting show. It was originally going to be on the Owen the Talkinator show, but we talked about it and we didn't want to risk copyright, so we're just going to put it on my channel, so I don't really give a fuck. So yeah, just you can come on in. We're going to be doing that at some point soon, probably in the beginning of September or maybe mid-September. Just kind of having a good time watching some matches on Project MEX Remix. And then Women's Youth Wrestling Update. And you can check that out on my channel. On Indie Force episode 27, there's a clip on this channel as well, and on the Weymouth Youth Wrestling channel, and everywhere, pretty much. And lastly, check out the Jay Hebert Side of Things, episode 5, where is the most craziest Tom Podge shit. I talk about the Will Smith thing 1 year later with Chris Rock. I also talk about McJuggernuggets. I talk about Smosh reuniting a little bit more in depth. I talk about Eddie Hall making his professional wrestling debut. Talk about character select and give the brackets of the tournament I'm doing. And I talk about Ronda Rousey leaving WWE. I also talk about MJF and Adam Cole's Better Than You Baby, which got me back into watching AEW Dynamite, at least for the time being. And Collision as well, because Collision's been fire. Yeah. That's pretty much it. And then there's cat videos.
There you go.
Go check it out.
So now as for my stuff, this is tough because I don't know what will be out, what won't be out. So I'm just gonna plug what's coming, and then if it's out, it's out. If it's not, it's not. WWE Aftershocks. One of the episodes I did solo, and then who knows who's on the next one. But those will be out. AEW Spokes. We're doing a 3-man booth for the first time recorded at the time. You should see it by then. Everyone's coming back for the first time because Zero doesn't want to take a break. He loves AEW that much, so going on him, I guess.
There you go.
And then I don't know. And then someone else will be on. I know the week of All In, that will be a Noah Zero one, just because I'll be in Pennsylvania like that week, of course. So I'm hoping during the car ride I can sit down and watch All In. So that would be nice. But that's gonna be tough. So
we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll play it by ear.
I will tell you this. I don't think you have to take over WWE Aftershock the week because I come back like the Friday before, so I might be able to. I might be able to just barely make it for WWE Aftershock. But I'll just tell you this: why don't you watch all the shows just in case something goes wrong? But
I'll make an effort too. That's going to be a lot of content for me to consume, but I'll do my best.
Again, I think I'm not going. We'll see what happens, but I'm hoping I can. Luckily, I'm going with someone that's a wrestling fan, so I think.
Perfect. Yeah, you should be fine. He'll be understanding at least.
Yeah, and then so for the retros you have coming up, you have NXT Takeover London. Please make sure you upload that, James. Don't forget because we recorded
NXT Takeover London.
Don't forget. Don't you remember we did that as a retro?
I thought we already uploaded that, didn't we?
No, I don't think you uploaded it.
I swear we uploaded that. Hold on. Wait, let's just make sure, because that makes me feel dumb if I didn't. Oh boy, did we?
Yeah, it's not uploaded.
Oh, okay. So, but we did record it, right? We already recorded it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry. My bad. Yeah. That's coming out too. That's coming out too. I forgot we did that as well. So
I thought you were waiting until like the week of All In. That's why.
That's correct. You are correct, sir. Yeah, and then we also wanted to do Wrestle Kingdom 12. Yeah, we got a lot of retros coming out, guys. To the point where we are recording so much shit in advance. But yes, NXT Takeover London, as you were saying.
Wrestle Kingdom 12, because even though that doesn't seem like related to All In, just watch that retro and you'll find out why it is. And
Wrestle Kingdom 12 leads to All In, which leads to the creation of AEW, which is leading to All In London now. So yeah, it all ties in.
Heat Wave, because NXT is doing Heat Wave. We had this we were gonna do this anyways, but now that NXT is doing Heat Wave, it gives us a good excuse to actually do it. We were actually gonna do this retro regardless, but now as NXT is doing Heat Wave, it ties in now. So
it's perfect.
There you go.
It's a small world after all.
WWE Raw from November 6th, 2017. That
was a London show specifically, by the way.
Yeah, I don't remember if it is November 6th, but it's like roughly around that time. It's the beginning. It's the first week of November. I'll just say that. And then what else do we have? We have you said Wrestle Kingdom, Full Gear 2020 for because it's an AEW pay-per-view and it has the first match with FTR and the Young Bucks. So Chris and I are gonna tackle that. All Out. We're gonna record that because and we're doing All Out 2021 because we never actually reviewed it because I was so busy that I could never do it. So
now you get to see this great pay-per-view in full.
When I saw it, I just never did the video. I never did the video. So
that's fair. So now you get to do a review.
Yeah, so that's gonna be nice. Oh, and
Actually, yeah, you did see it with us. We actually have the watch party on Casey's channel, believe it or not. I just uploaded it like months late.
Yeah, but it was just I was so busy. I didn't watch any of the build up for it, and I couldn't watch much afterwards because of everything was so busy. So
Yeah, fair enough.
And then let's see what else. On the Talkinator, we have some videos there. There should be a couple of Owen AJ talks. We have Ben 10, the first episode, the season premiere, that's up there. And then Danny Phantom, I still have to upload the video so you can edit it, James. I just haven't had the... Well, it's not that I haven't had the time. I just keep forgetting because, you know, I just keep forgetting. And then...
while you're on that subject as well, content and review on Owen the Talkinator coming back on that channel. And the debut episode with me, hopefully you, Owen, and Mistress... We're going to be watching some Omegle musicians. That's going to be the topic of discussion and reaction on that episode back. So there you go. Yeah.
I would probably just say you and Mistress. Then I don't know I don't know anything about that.
No, trust me. That's the whole goal. You want to go in blind. I wanted you on that because I wanted you to go in blind because I want you to be wowed by shit like this.
Okay.
Trust me.
I
don't pick dumb shit. There might be some you might not be interested in, but I guarantee you will be fucking interested in this. Trust me.
I would just feel bad because I don't know what I would bring to the table, type of thing.
You will bring a fresh perspective. And by the way, for the record, it's Mistress hasn't seen any of this stuff either. I don't think so. It's one of those things where we could all like if you haven't seen it, keep it that way. I want you to go in blind. You'll be fine.
Okay.
Anyway.
I think, and then anything coming up FTW Productions related?
Right now, FTW main hub is slightly stalled, but we're going to be coming back soon. We're going to be uploading for Best of FTW Episode 2. We're going to be uploading both episodes of SMBZ that we voice acted, so that will be the second Best of FTW Productions. And then we're going to have like ad breaks in between all that. So yeah, that's kind of what we're gonna do. We're gonna make that like a whole big ass production.
I feel like we need to.
That's what we'll do there.
We need to get like a Master Story Wrestling corner, like old clip of that up. An old clip of that show.
Depends on which one we do, but yeah, I can see what I can do. I'd have to repurpose the edit. I'm trying to do stuff that I know will be easy right away instead of just like busting my ass. Type of thing, because like I know I want button mashers, some of the button master stable wars up there, and I have to like cut that shit down to fucking size for repurposation. So like that's gonna be a thing. Yeah.
Oh, so let's do another. Should we try to get a fantasy booking while I'm done? Because I have stuff in the can. I feel like we need to at least do an episode. Like we need to do an episode.
Yeah, well, we have episodes that we need to release anyway. So yeah, we could start the feud one. I'm pretty sure. I just have to make sure I have all that stuff repurposed. I have the raw footage saved. I think.
What about recording something new?
Do you want to just record something? Do you want to just record something new and say fuck it to that one for a little bit?
No, keep that one, but like, cause it's like post-op feud type of thing. So that's why I like want to say.
Okay, so I'm saying, so how about this? We'll record something new for now, and then we'll post our feud stuff later because it has been a while since we've done a fantasy, and I figured we could save the other stuff, the fantasy that we did ages ago, which was years. It was recorded years ago, by the way. We could just post that later.
Well, the problem is you can't. People have to see the stuff first, like that we recorded years ago, before they see this, because that would be kind of.
Don't worry about it. I already said it was originally recorded in 2021 when Steve did his Goldberg one.
Oh, okay. So
yeah, we'll be good. We'll be good. Trust me. I have it down to a science. It's okay. Plus, that got like a lot of views, by the way. That Steve one.
Yeah, because
got a decent amount of views.
Yeah, so because they're probably wondering what happened what would have happened. So
yeah, exactly. There you go. So yeah, that's basically what we have going on. There's a lot of shit going on all over FTW Productions. So that's it. I don't know what else we can really promote. So there you go.
Go to the bathroom when you have to go to the bathroom. Don't hold it in for a while. So.
Yeah, like this man did. Say a catchphrase, and then you can go take a huge piss, as you were quoted saying.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. Since this is being recorded in the past, we will talk to you guys in the future with new stuff coming out. So there you go.
Now, real quick, can you also say, before we end the show, I gotta piss balls.
I gotta piss balls.
All right, bye, guys.
We doing all the classics, you heard it, then I grabbed it. Flow like Method Man, then run like I'm Rabbit. Soon as I hear the bass line, it be my FaceTime. Music's in my veins, so just in case I'm without my iPod or a media player, I'll check my